Hi everybody. My name is Kita, and today we're going to be playing Wrath of the Righteous, my goodness. And we're doing part 3 today. Yeah, part 3. And I'm super excited about it. And yeah, I'm super excited to start playing this. So, we just finished up talking to a couple people in the tavern. His name I can't remember right now. Right. Pink eye. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's Lan. Lan greets you with a nod. Here for a chat? I've been waiting for you to come and see what strange beasts you've taken into your party. Okay, you call yourself a beast? I'd like to know more about you. Let me guess, your first question is, can you wear a hat with your one horn? Am I right? Kind of. Can you wear a hat with your one horn? Sure I can, but certain designs don't suit me too well. Lan speaks with a deadly serious voice. You speak common much better than the rest of your tribe. Funnily enough, common isn't all that common underground, Lan says. But your observation is correct. I used to live on the surface with my parents for a while and had a chance to learn a couple of things. The language and the fact that every peasant who sees my scaly mug screams, "Demon!" and runs away. I don't know if you're interested, but my mom wasn't from an underground tribe. She was a smuggler, the kind that used the dungeons of Canabras to secretly move and store goods. One time, two gangs couldn't agree on how to share a prime cut, got into a fight, and the winners threw the losers down a hole, dead and living alike. My dad went to check if the corpses had anything useful on them, and he found a girl from the surface, barely clinging to life. An incredible feeling sparked between them, or maybe the girl just liked men with scales and a cat nose. That might be it. One way or another, he got her back on her feet, and he later even left his home caves. She left her smuggling behind, and they began an honest life together. Oh, that's really sweet. That's the delightful story of how old Lan came into the world. The next chapter, however, my family and I never stayed in one place for long. We lived sometimes on the surface, sometimes underground. We couldn't find a place to call home. Living in the caves was hard on my mom, and my dad's appearance raised too many questions in Mendev. They're at war against the demons, after all. In the end, my parents decided to stop making each other miserable and separated. That's not good. My father and I returned to our tribe. I think the peasants screaming demon had something to do with it. Or maybe Dad just couldn't stand life without rat tail soup. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. Well, that doesn't sound alright. Did you come with me so you could see the surface again? No, that wasn't it. I just don't have much patience for certain types of creatures. Demons, I mean. If they want to destroy Canabras, I'll be on the side of the people they're attacking. Lan looks away. Lan, you're my companion. Companions should trust each other. I'm counting on you to give me honest answers, not excuses. Oh. Now let's do this one. It's an honest answer. Lan looks ashamed. I guess you're right. I shouldn't have been so evasive. It's just that some things are hard to talk about. My family, for example. My birth, hell take me, turned out to be a great misfortune for my parents, all because I'm relatively healthy. I'm the best thing that can come from a marriage between a cave-dwelling mongrel and anyone from the surface. A healthy child with the right number of hands and feet, no apparent defects, no missing organs or other problems. They saw hope in me, so risked having more children. They thought it would somehow be alright. What happened? A girl edges into Lan's voice. I could have had 4 brothers. Oh. The first was born 2 years after me and died 3 years later. Oh, that's... Oh, so he was only 3? Horrible. He didn't have a nose? Nothing even remotely resembling one. He could only breathe through his mouth. Oh. Mom and Dad were afraid to take their eyes off him for fear he'd choke and suffocate on something. But in the end, it was his weak heart that killed him. Oh, man. Then there was another pregnancy and birth. I pretended I was sleeping, but snuck out of my bedroom and listened under the door. all those hours. It was very strange, but I never heard the newborn scream. Mom moaning, yes, the priest praying. And I dared to open the door a little and looked inside. The priest stood there very pale. One of them was holding something, a small object that fit in his palm. He asked, "Do you know what this is?" And the other said, "I think it's a head," and stops. Oh my god, that's horrible. You don't have to keep talking if this hurts you. Hell no, I started to tell you and I'll make it to the end. You want to know why I followed you to the surface? Well, here's the reason. Lamb pauses, exhales, and continues in a steadier voice. It turned out that this time Mom was expecting triplets. The first of the babies was born in pieces. And the other two didn't live long enough to draw their first breath. About 3 weeks later, my father took me to the caves. He didn't want to leave. I could see it in his face, but I think my mom and he decided it together. The curse my people have carried since the first Crusade stood between them, not to mention the 4 dead babies. Yeah, that's hard on any couple, but the fact that it was so horrific probably makes it worse. And old age was rapidly taking its toll on my father. After we returned to the caves, he lived only another 4 years. Wow. So if you're asking me why I decided to go up with you to the surface and join the Crusaders, well, the answer is I've always wanted to. I was afraid to leave my tribe, but it always haunted me that I'd die in a world where 4 Crusades could do nothing to stop the beast from the abyss, and the number of victims kept growing. I want to change that, or at least try to. That's very noble, man. And if changing things is too much to ask, then at least get a little revenge. The ones who are behind the world wound owe me a great debt. The lives of 4 brothers, all my mother's tears, my father's broken heart. It's a lot. It's so much that killing a couple of demons won't do it for me. I want to do something real, and I'm ready to pay any price. Call it my personal crusade if you like. Lan gives you a slanted grin. I used to think that things would be better if I'd never been born. Oh, don't say that. But now I think I was born for this. Okay. To settle the score. Well, I don't think it's good to have... I don't think it's a good thing to devote your life to just killing something. That doesn't strike me as healthy. But it's better than giving up completely, I guess. Why didn't you go up and join the Crusaders before? I feel like to find your mother. Your parents loved and survived the hardship, but that doesn't mean the same thing will happen to you. What if you find true love, someone who won't leave you no matter what? I get the feeling this is a romance path, and I am happy to trigger all flags between everybody and pick at the very end of the thing. That's the kind of player I am. And break my beloved's heart when I die in her arms 5 years later. Yeah, you kind of get the elf problem in that situation. That's a fine thing to do to the person you love. Then again, there's a chance I'll inspire some tragic bard to write a tearful ballad. And when I say that's the elf problem again, elves sometimes become forlorn because they just have known and loved too many mortal beings. Because elves in Pathfinder live like 400 to 500 years. They live a long time. Humans live in this time period up to like 50, maybe 80 most. So clearly an elf can love 5 humans in one of their lifetimes. So they end up, and that's just love-wise. Like, that's not even saying friends and brothers in arms and things. So for them, it's really like for an elf to love a human, it's like loving someone for 5 years and then they die. And it's hard on them. And basically what he's saying here is he ages very quickly, and even if a human were to love him, it would be basically the elf-human romance conundrum, where it would be incredibly short and hard for everybody involved. But I'm a romantic, and I don't care about that, because love is love. I am a Shalenite, deep down. Those of you who don't know, that's the goddess of love and art. Why didn't you go up and join the Crusaders before? I couldn't just abandon my tribe, I'm the best hunter. Okay, credit where it's due. They'll have it much harder without me, but now that the demons have nearly destroyed Canabras and the caves almost collapsed on our heads, sitting and waiting it out just won't Just wasn't an option anymore. Anyway, I'm more useful up here than I am down there. Plus, the chief let me go, which means my debt to the tribe has been paid. Would you like to find your mother? No. Ooh. The word flies from Lan's mouth faster than an arrow. Yep. Then after a pause, he continues, I don't want to meet her. Not because I feel any resentment, it's just that she's a half-elf. She's barely got her first gray hair, and I'll be a ramshackled old man. She's buried enough children. There's no need to make her witness the death of another one. I hope you understand. Yeah, I get that. I understand. It's still sad. But that kind of makes sense about your ear and why it's like that. It's so pointy. Half-elf. I am very sorry, truly. Lan smiles, this time sadly. Well then, I'm very lucky. I met someone who not only helped me choose the right path, but is happy to listen to my whining. Thanks for sharing, Lan. Thanks for listening. Mongrels have short lifespans, but you don't like you're getting old or dying. How old are you? Lan chuckles. I'm as old as I look. No surprises there. But remember Saul? He's 10 years older than me. I remember him back when he was a fearless warrior, and day by day I watch him turn into an old man, him and my father. It happens very quickly. First you miss a shot because you don't see the target as clearly as you used to. You think it's because your eyes are tired. You tell yourself it'll get better tomorrow. Then you notice you're having trouble breathing. That climbing is harder than before. Lan clenches and unclenches his human fist. Your fingers stop bending. You have to tie your sword to your hand. Oh. You can't even put on your greaves without help. When you're washing your face in a stream, sometimes you catch sight of a gray-haired, wrinkled old man you don't recognize. And this goes on until one day you come across a cave beast and you realize you can't outrun it. Lan takes a breath. My dad kept diaries, marking all the signs, and I saw it too. The last year I had to help him get out of bed, help him dress, remind him to eat. Sometimes he forgot my name. I told him that we should stay on the surface, and he joked that dodging a goddess was behavior unworthy of a crusader. He meant Pharasma. Pharasma, for those that don't know, is the goddess of death and fate. Every morning I wake up and check how I feel, but there are no signs yet. Even so, I know I don't have much time. I need to do something useful before I forget why I came here. Yeah, can we talk about Wendwog? That's pretty forward, isn't it? Tell me about your connections to Wendwog. My connections to Wendwog. I mean, where do I start? Lan turns the unexpressive reptile half of his face to you. We grew up together. We trained together. She was the chief's daughter. She was groomed to be the best all her life, and then I came along. We were rivals, but we dragged each other out of tight spots, too. I've always been drawn to grand heroic gestures, sometimes idiotic ones, whereas Wendu liked to roam unexplored passages, finding new caves and making maps. She wanted to be a great huntress, the one who'd make it through the shield maze, but instead she... Lan shakes his head. It'd be better if she died. The death of a friend is painful, but watching a friend become a shadow of their former self is unbearable. She doesn't think she's a shadow of her former self. Of course, she thinks she did everything right, because the second she starts to doubt herself, she'll have to face the truth, to admit that she's just a cannibal that demons use as they wish. Lan's frown looks almost like a wince. She wants to get stronger and stronger, but for what? I'll never understand what drives her. That's a good question. Why does she want to be the strongest? What does she believe that does? Were you just friends or were you more than that? Do I have the right to ask this question? It seems real personal. Yeah, alright. Yeah. Wow, you really don't pull your punches, do you? Sorry, I'm real curious. Lan exhales loudly. There was a time when I asked myself the same question. Wendwog knew me better than anyone. She understood me better than anyone. She was the first girl I ever... You know. But we never loved each other. Maybe I could have grown to love her, but it always seemed like she never understood what love was. Maybe she just wasn't capable of those kinds of feelings. I think everyone's capable of love, they just show it in a different fashion. If you ever want to reopen any more old wounds, you know where to find me. I'm sorry, you could have just told me to fuck off. I think we know a lot about the mongrels. What do you think of life on the surface? It must be very different from life underground. Of course, as far as living conditions, the surface is definitely a better place to be. It's easier to get good food and water, not to mention build a house and even grow a few things. In older, well-established settlements, you don't have to deal with anything scarier than rats and maybe a few foxes stealing chickens. As for the kind of lives you have, I heard a story about demon worshippers abducting a whole family and sacrificing them one by one while others watched. But there were some brave Crusader knights nearby and they killed the villains and saved everyone. And I heard another story, a young blacksmith lost his arm in a fire, couldn't work to feed his wife and baby. They tried their best and lived from hand to mouth. But they were still destitute. In the end, the desperate blacksmith robbed a traveler one night on the road, but there were some brave Crusader knights nearby, and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. Not long after, his wife smothered their baby and hanged herself. Yeah, that's my problem with a lot of Paladin-esque characters. They're lawful stupid. They don't go further than just being like, hi, why'd this person do this? They go as far as, this person did something wrong, therefore it's wrong. I feel like Paladins live in worlds of black and white, and that's just not how the world works. That's why I usually play neutral good, or neutral characters, or even chaotic, because I'm not very lawful. It's not how I think. For me, there is no black and white. And that's a really good example of why there's not black and white. Up here, the same person can proudly say he's protecting the innocents from demon, and then look the other way while the innocent starves just because they were born to a poor family. Queen Gallifrey prolongs her life with sun orchid elixirs that cost enough to feed an entire city. Yeah, that's a good point. He's got a point. Back in our caves, everyone is equally poor, and if one person starves, the whole tribe starves. We don't abandon our own in times of trouble. That's the power of a tribe. The laws of the surface are made so that some get everything and others get nothing. I might be a naive fool from the caves, but I don't understand how it's possible to have so much more and share so much less. Wow. That's so profound. I am slowly growing a respect for land. Anyway, look who I'm talking to. You must know life on the surface much better than I do. I say this one. I'd never leave a needy person in trouble. I've been given more than most, which means I'm now more able to help others. A fitting reply. Don't take my words as reproach. I like grumbling as much as cracking jokes. He does like cracking those jokes, even if they're not very good. Lan is obviously trying to muster a friendly smile, but it's an expression his face doesn't accommodate very naturally. You said you were prepared to risk your life to do something meaningful. What exactly did you mean? Did you invent a new salad and have it named after me? Lan remarks grimly. Then he sighs. Truth be told, I don't know. It would be much easier if all I really wanted was to kill demons, and then a few more demons, then more demons after that. Good, honest rage, and no needless brooding. I think I actually envy the warriors who can live like that. But I can't. If life's taught me anything, it's that there are no easy choices. Dying a glorious death isn't enough. Some heroes of the Crusades did that, and also saved entire settlements, erected the ward stones. Their actions kept the lands of Mendos safe for decades. That's what I want. For my dumb short life to have meant something. Oh, Lan, it already... Lan, your life already means something. You don't need to make it to the history books for it to actually have meaning. You think I have an exaggerated opinion of myself. Some scaly freak crawls out of the caves, wants to take control of the wardstones of blood. Any fool can charge in the front lines, demonic armies. And die there, but what good will it do? I want something meaningful, you know, even if I have to pay the highest price, especially if I have to pay it. There are plenty of worthier people who need to survive this war, and tell everyone else what nutcases we were. Yeah, I agree. Ah, it's a lot of... Of course, what would you like to know? What's it like living in your caves? Oh, land gives you a broad smile. His smile is strange, as if it falters where his human features meet his animal ones. Imagine that in the entire world there's only a few hundred of you. There's not an inch of fertile ground anywhere, nowhere to grow grain for bread, or cotton and linen for cloth. Your neighbors are beasts who want to eat you, or parasites who want to infect you with their larvae. And then eat you. And it's not that bad. Because you can try to eat most of those things, they are trying to eat you. Sometimes at the risk of getting poisoned, sometimes with almost no risk at all. In the worst years, there's not a single living thing anywhere to be found, predator or prey. That's when you eat mushroom soup. I'd say 3 times a day, but there was barely enough for once every 3 days. Man. But life underground has its upsides, pun intended. Of course it's intended. There's no risk of losing the roof over your head. There's no bad weather, not counting the earthquakes, of course. Are you really the descendants of the first Crusaders? More like demon spawn, aren't we? Sad, but true. Without the demons, there would be no mongrels. It's the magic of the world wound that affected our ancestors and made their children the way they are. Like most in our tribe, Chief Saul fancies himself a descendant of the underground Crusaders, the ones who our heroic ancestors left to guard the caves. I don't know if it's true or not. That angel came to our caves for a reason. Maybe he remembered us. That's a nice thought. Those were evil, dangerous times after the First Crusade. Hundreds of Crusaders began having children, and the babies were born with fangs and horns and warts that covered half their face. People didn't like the new look. The Inquisitors sure didn't. So our ancestors fled persecution and made a home for themselves down there, under the ground. They probably intended to find a cure for their children, and hoped to return in time, but it never happened. Instead, the World Wound's terrible legacy was passed down from generation to generation. Mongrel parents can only guess what their child will look like. Each of us is born with a new mutation. Many mutations are fatal. Land stops and suddenly goes quiet. Down in those caves, we usually don't congratulate the family for the birth of a child until they turn at least 3. Most don't even get a name before that. There's no point. That's so sad. So it's just as hard to have a baby with a mongrel and a mongrel, like birth defects are just natural. It hasn't been that long since the First Crusade. Why do you know so little about your ancestors? Our lives are much shorter than most uplanders. Up here, only a few generations pass, and many still who remember old Sarkarus as it stood untouched by the demons. Queen Galfrey, for example. But where we live, mongrels start getting old much earlier than humans, much faster, with more devastating consequences. Few live past 40. The fewer and fewer still live long enough to die of old age. Hunger, disease, and monsters from the deep are more effective killers than time. So for us, the story of the First Crusade is a legend that happened generations ago. There are no living witnesses. We have a tale of the wise and great ancestors who left us to stand guard in the catacombs, but in reality I suspect they were desperate wretches who couldn't figure out how to dispel the demonic plague, who were abandoned by their own kind. That's a really cool comparison. Just people not living as long and everyone being like, oh, that happened like 12 years ago. And they're like, yeah, that was 5 generations ago for us. It's just a really interesting perspective. You have a way to tell day and night you can't see the sun in your caves? That's a good question. Every Mongol settlement has a gong, which we treat like a relic. The gong keeper hits it twice a day to mark the beginning and the end. But this custom doesn't keep time very precisely. Every Mongol child has struck Snuck up to the gong to strike it at the wrong time at least once, just out of pure mischief. Nothing could keep me away from it, not even the fact that I only have one ear, which means it would take double the punishment once I was caught. So sometimes the wrong strikes get mixed in with the right ones, and the tribe can't find itself jumping up to greet the morning in the middle of the night. Do Mongol tribes fight each other? There were some skirmishes, and I've been forced to kill my kinfolk before, too. Lance speaks in a steady voice. Fights most often break out over food. We have laws in the caves, written and unwritten rules that we follow. We respect one another's right to live, but hunger, it can push a person over the edge. Yeah, it can. It's how you get Wendigos. I've never, you can count on that, stolen someone else's kill. But I can understand those of my kin who tried. To hear your kids begging for food and not be able to feed them is terrifying. He frowns and goes silent. Yeah, that's a really sad image. This got really dark. You're the only member of the Neathholm tribe to call your people mongrels. Why is that? Because all of Golarion calls us that? I don't see the point of all this hemming and hawing over what we're called. Anyone who finds it offensive or takes issue with it can lead the charge against the name. No one's stopping them. But personally, I'm not going to pick a fight over something as unimportant as a name. That's fair. That's a fair point. Thank you, I found out everything I wanted to know. We found out a lot of information. It's nice to know my ramblings seem useful to somebody. Thank you for your answers, so long. That was Lan. I think we talked to Camellia already. Oh, Sela. Sela smiles at you warmly. Hey there! During the march through the dungeon, we never got the chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's high time I shake your hand. Hey, girl. That's so funny. My straw is green. I'm such a dork. I'd like to know more about you. Of course, ask me anything. I'll answer honestly. I believe it, you're a Medean. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? I'm a little bit from Geb, a little bit from Katapesh, but mostly from the Knights of Imodea. Imode? I freaking never know how to pronounce that name. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to their ranks more than I belong to any other place. Fair. You've come to Mendev by a long road, haven't you? A very long one, Sela looks at you cheerfully. A traveler is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I have only 3 tales of any interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself when it's time to start bragging, and that just won't do. Especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of a battle with chupacabras. You can't tell me with a story about fighting chupacabras and then not follow through. What are chupacabras, by the way? Incredibly repulsive magical beasts, fast and dangerous. They can... Well, looks like someone fooled me into starting a tale. I guess I have to tell you the whole story now. Picture a small town in Kadira. And down in the dungeons, there are 2 murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them. The rope's been bought. But sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly, a paladin of Imode appears in the doorway and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with her to fight some monsters, they live. If they survive, that is. There's a big difference between imminent death and a probable death with a glimmer of hope, wouldn't you say? So, here we are, traveling through the desert, me and my friend, a priestess of Sarenrae, along with the little ratfolk fellow who'd asked for our help, and the 2 cutthroats. We get to the ratfolk village and saw their bodies lying around, all drained and dry. We figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how the little ratfolk described the monsters who attacked the village. That's why we went in all brazen-like. The sun was high, and vampires couldn't attack until dusk. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair judgment call. But we never got a chance to look around. Black shadows, quick as the wind, attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, but chupacabras. One of the lads we pulled from the gallows got killed right away. The second one ran for his life. That left me, the ratfolk, and Kira. That was the name of the priestess. And we all steeled ourselves for the fight of our lives. And just when we thought the end had come, with the chupacabras surrounding me like a pack of dogs around a bear, and our ratfolk friend wounded and down, and the teeth of the quickest of those blasted monsters was clenched on Kira's shoulder, right then when all hope was lost, the other lad from the gallows suddenly comes running back. He kills the beast attacking Kira. I'm sure you know what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before we were lost, a moment later, we had it back under control. The chupacabras dropped dead one by one. The little rat folk was reunited with his family who were hiding in the basement. The priestess and I closed the eyes of that boy from the gallows who saved us. Oh. He died? It was a shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul on its journey through the afterlife. Oh, he came back and saved you, even though he died. Even though he probably knew he was gonna die. Like, man. That's a good story. He could have died in disgrace in the gallows, but instead he died a hero. I guess that's better. Probably more horrific. And I'd fancy the stunt earned him some points at his final judgment. I hope so. It's smart to remember our journey doesn't end in death. That's true. Had it not been for that mercy, Milos was his name, would be hanging from a noose, and me, Kira, and all the rat folk would be dead in that village. Someone told me that a kind deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious. Yeah, kinda. By the same token, evil done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. Yeah. It's more the shock factor, though, that makes it multiplied. That's what I really wanted to say. The chupacabras were just a good starting point. What made you become a paladin of Imade? Yeah. Just woke up one day and we're like, ah, yes, righteousness. Sela's gaze sharpens momentarily, then she sighs. Oh. That's a serious question and a good one. You should ask it to your companions, but it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago, I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed the streets of Solku with other homeless orphans. I stole, I fought, I was a hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origins for a paladin, is it? Back then, Solku was a city of orphans, widows, and widowers. Gnolls decimated the city regularly. My parents were among their victims. People there heard about new deaths before they'd finished mourning their previous losses. One day, a group of knights of Imade brought a glimmer of hope to the city. But while others saw them as saviors and protectors, I was busy pricing up their noble horses and their gleaming mithril armor, wondering just how much one of their pretty swords would fetch. Haha. A thief lives one day at a time, that's what they say. I was the type that never thought past the next job. Anyway, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of their mithril helms. Sela pauses, her voice sad and measured. And I was right there when a gnoll attacked the helm's owner. Asemi was her name, and dealt a blow to her unprotected head. A gnoll like all the others that she'd fearlessly driven from the gates of Solku. That one blow was fatal, but who was really to blame for her death? The gnoll attacker or the young thief named Sela? Oof. Just goes to show you that little things have huge consequences sometimes. Oh, hey, yay! Even a seemingly small mistake can have terrible consequences. Yeah! Yes, you're right 1,000 times over. I hate to say it, but I just didn't see it back then. And if I had never got that lesson, my eyes would never properly have been opened. Who knows what would have happened to me if it wasn't for Asemi, and her bravery, and her death. Maybe the world would know Sela as a bandit, and not as a knight and protector of those in need. There's a saying I like to remember. People rarely find redemption on their own. Someone must show them the way. Fair point. But you were asking what brought me into the ranks of Imade's warriors. We all choose the paladin's path for our own reasons. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by the desire to fight injustice. I became who I am through penance and a debt unpaid. The day Asemi died protecting my city, I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt. But then I realized it wouldn't make the world any better. And I decided that instead of trying to make her take her place, I'd become who she had been. Oh, then I said I'd try to take her place. I'd become who she had been and protect the innocence that she would no longer be able to protect. I don't know if you should take her place. Be your own kind of person, you know? What are the principles of the Paladins of Imode? Oh, what principles? What are the principles that Paladins of Imode follow? There we go. Weird wording. Sela smiled. I'll tell you. I like to recite our code. It feels like I've said it 1,000 times, but it never gets old. There is strength in these words. After a pause, she begins, her voice low and meditative. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the Inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender those under my command. I will never abandon a companion, though I will honor sacrifice freely given. I will guard the honor of my fellows, both thought and deed, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give honor to worthy enemies and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will be temperate in my actions and moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Imode's perfection. That last sentence. I liked all of it except the last bit. Actually, 2 bits, but the part where you're not going to be shackled by your free will. I mean, that in and of itself sounds like a contradiction, but also, gods aren't perfect. Gods make mistakes all the time. For instance, I think Saren Ray at some point blew up a town. Just putting it out there. Hope I didn't bore you. Ask me anything else if you like. Earbeth said your friend Jana Aldori is missing. Do you know where we should look for her? Last place I saw her was at the festival. Earbeth is worried about her fighters. I understand that. I wanted to help look for Jana myself so I didn't distract you. But since you're in this too, I could use some help. Jana and I met in Canabras a few days ago and just hit it off. We went drinking together. We went to that unforgettable celebration together too. We got separated in the crowd. So we should start looking from the main square. That's where I last saw her. Jana's a good fighter even if she is green. She couldn't have become an Aldori otherwise. I hope that means she's alright. What do you think of what's going on in Canabras? It's complete chaos. It's lucky we're here to handle it, right? Sela smiles brightly. Then she gives you a worried look. Does the way I talk bother you? I know I can seem blasé. Many good people in our protector Trendle have died here in Canabras. A paladin of Imode is expected to be properly respectful and solemn. But I prefer to face my troubles with a smile and a bit of common sense. Grief is a weapon they'll use against you. It can undermine a warrior's spirit. It's better to hold off on grief until we've driven the last demon and cultists from the city. If we want to win, we can't be mourning our deceased day and night. Plus joy heals the soul. I kind of agree with that. There's wisdom. I mean, both of these are correct, but we're playing an Azada, and she's going to be more on the chaotic side, just not chaotic good. So we're going to say joy heals the soul. It's nice when you and your commander think alike. Sela smiles softly. Is fighting demons all you want, or are you looking for something more? How about covering myself in glory and becoming the hero of 100 ballads? Or at least a dozen if they're lively ones. Sela's eyes shine cheerfully. Anyway, to be more serious, the area around Worldwound is the best for a paladin who wishes to defend the weak and serve the good. Being part of the Crusade is reward enough for me, but there's something that worries me. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing my brother in arms, but the Eagle Watch and the other orders are focused on just one aim, the war against the Worldwound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the smaller things. Ordinary misfortunes, you know? I always liked being a wandering knight because any moment I could get up and go help a poor rat folk whose family had been kidnapped, or an old woman whose favorite dog had gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't have some big important goal, but I'll be happy to help those who need it. A little bit here and there. Thank you for speaking with me. Hello? Look.
I'm gone.
I don't know what's... Okay, we're gonna talk to Erebeth. Erebeth rubs her red and tired eyes. Any success? How is the city? What is our main objective? You heard what the demon said. They're going to desecrate the wardstone and blow up the whole barrier around the world wound. That would be an even worse disaster than the world wound's expansion before the Second Crusade. Not only Canabra's, but every city with a wardstone will be destroyed, including the capital. We can't allow that no matter what. We will retake, even destroy it if we must. Imoday's gift must not become a weapon of the Abyss. These wardstones, what are they? They are our greatest treasure, the shield given to us by Imoday herself, and placed in Canabra's and other Mendevian cities and fortresses by her herald. The chain of wardstones forms a protective barrier that stops the expansion of the world wound, and keeps the demons from moving across its borders. I shudder to think what will happen if the barrier falls. Allow me to ask a few personal questions. Frowning a little, Erebeth nods. Please, but I must warn you there are some things I don't have the right to discuss. Where are you from? I was born in Canabra's. I grew up on a farm just outside of it, but my way back home lay at the end of a long and winding road. It took me years of traveling through foreign lands before I became aware where I've always belonged. How did you become a paladin? A bitter smile appears on the half-orc's face. I don't like to remember it. Believe it or not, the story of how I became a paladin is also the story of how I failed to become a knight. Oh. My parents were crusaders, may their souls stand together in Imoday's celestial army. When I was born, they retired from the war and started preparing me to continue their legacy. My father was an orc. You'd be pressed to find a calmer, wiser, and more pious servant of the goddess than he, but still, all his life, he was dogged by sideways looks and whispers. When I grew older, and it was time for me to serve, I decided anywhere but Canabra's. That was where my father had served loyally, and his only reward had been injustice. Besides the witch hunters, led by the Honorable Prelate Helrun, stalked the city with a heavy hand. Who knows what they'd have done to a strange girl with green skin. Instead, I went to... A smirk that looks more like a painful grimace crosses her face. You can laugh if you want, but I was young and foolish. I chose Lastwall of all places. Hey, don't diss Lastwall. You can imagine how well I was accepted in a country that's been battling the orcs of Belkson since its foundation. Oh, yeah, I can see where that's a... yeah. There were many there like me, but we were all treated as second-class citizens. To the locals, my green skin was worse than leper scabs. Even my brothers in faith kept their distance. I took my vows, and the goddess granted me the powers of a paladin, but even then, not a single order would accept me into their ranks. I spent another 6 months knocking on doors before I realized a simple truth. I serve Imoday, not these people. I don't have to prostrate myself before them, so I left as a paladin, but not a knight. You must stick out like a sore thumb no matter where you go, right? I know many people envy ASMRs, but most of the ones I've known found their celestial heritage a burden. Oh, she's talking about us. I find it hard to imagine what unasked for adoration must be like, but I'm sure it doesn't make life any easier or more pleasant. It depends. Some ASMR get very full of themselves because of the constant adoration. That, or it's the complete opposite. They hate it so much, so they go to thieving and murdering and other things to completely offset the adoration entirely. Tends to be one or the other. Or they take the adoration into consideration and become clerics and paladins and put the weight of their world on their shoulders because that's what everyone expects them to do. So really, there are 3 real stereotypes for ASMR. How'd you come to join a knightly order? Yeah. I left Laswell and went traveling. The goddess guided me, and my path led me to where atrocities were happening. I often fought in exchange for gold, but never for unworthy aims, of course. I wandered the River Kingdoms for a few years, killing monsters and tracking down criminals. Sometimes I thought I was just wasting time, that my true place was in Canabras. But I pushed those thoughts away. I didn't even want to think about going back. But in the end, divine providence had brought me to my senses. It happened in Timon. I was tracking a gang of bandits, which my employer suspected was a cover for Rasmurian spies. I managed to find their lair, but inside I found something more dangerous than spies. An unholy temple to Zonkathon. Oof. Zonkathon is the god of pain and torture. And pleasure, I think? Don't quote me on that one, but definitely pain and torture. When I broke in there, the cultists were about to sacrifice someone. The person who was destined to become my wife, Anivia. But that's another story. After I cut down the cultists, I examined their papers and couldn't believe my eyes. A network of evil cultists has spread through all of Avestan, including Mendev. Worse, the documents clearly show that their allies, the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth, had infested my native Canabras, and were even among the ranks of the Paladins. After that, delaying my homecoming would be tantamount to desertion. Luckily, I was no longer alone. Anivia was eager to destroy the cultists as I was. Anivia and I hurried to Canabras. We couldn't trust anyone. The papers indicated that the cultists had infiltrated everything. Luckily, I had some experience in investigation, and my beloved, the half-orc, smiles warmly. She knew her way around, working locks, tailing people, trading information with the city's bottom feeders. Soon we defeated, alas, not the whole Hydra, but a few of its heads. Do you know who turned out to be the leader of the cultists? The commander of the Eagle Watch. Wow. Can you imagine? While Prelate Hellrun was chasing witches through the city, the enemy had infiltrated the very order responsible for internal security. The scandal reached the ears of the Queen. At first she had planned to disband the order in disgrace, but she offered its command to me, and put its salvation in my hands. Of course, there was one small catch. I wasn't a knight. But I was made commander just the same, skipping the usual progression through the ranks. Wow. That's pretty great. I can't imagine the followers of Zonkathon in alliance with demon worshippers. Shouldn't they hate each other? They should, but Baphomet's minions are masters of deception. They manipulate Zonkathon's butchers as eagerly as Immode knights. The cultists from that unholy temple didn't know the true face of their associates in Canabras. We ourselves learned the truth much later, but after getting to the bottom of their nest. How do the people of Canabras feel about your background? They tolerated it surprisingly well. I shouldn't have been so wary. Crusaders tend to be prejudiced as a rule. Oh, Crusaders don't tend to be prejudiced as a rule. After all, heroes from all over the world, even from other continents, come here to fight the demons. Apparently the people were only suspicious of full-blooded orcs. There were already many like me here, and we don't have any problems. Though the locals do have their superstitions. Mendev is as merciless as Lastwall. They just have a different set of victims. Yeah, like Tieflings. Granted, Tieflings aren't really liked really anywhere, but I can understand they're super persecuted in the World Wound. All this reading is parching me. I keep seeing those same sideways looks and scowls, hearing the familiar whispers, but where once they used to whisper behind my back and point at me, now they whisper in my ear and point at someone else. It's so strange to be on the other side of humiliation, to wipe the spit from your face and suddenly be invited to change positions and spit at someone else. You must have figured out by now that I'm talking about tieflings. Yep, yes, I said that. It's true that there are many of them among the cultists and a few among our crusaders. And our fighters do all they can to drive away those who would be our allies. People shun them, call them Arilu spawn, or worse, as if they chose to be born like that. I believe it's quite a feat to rise against the call of one's blood and join the forces of good. Still, most only see them as the enemy. I once saw a knight bleeding to death because he wouldn't let a tiefling priest touch his wound. Jeez, what the hell? Alas, I haven't been able to change this in all my time in Canabras. What is wrong with people? Tell me about Anivia. We met in Timon as I was wandering aimlessly from one ordeal to the other. We returned to Canabras together to expose the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth. The day the Queen knighted me was the second happiest day of my life. The first was the day of our wedding. Oh, that's so sweet. But Anivia isn't just my beloved. She's my staunchest ally. We share every victory and defeat. The best of me is alive thanks to her. That is such a good way of thinking about it. Thank you for saving her back then. The day Canabras fell. Before her return, the only thing giving me the strength to protect the Defender's heart was the hope that I'd see her again. We are in your debt. I'm happy we could help. Tell me about the Eagle Watch. Is it basically the police? It was a small order created to fight not only demons, but also the enemy within, to maintain the purity of the Paladin ranks, prevent heresy, and identify spies. Oh, so the previous commander being a traitor was a really super big deal. And it failed miserably at that. The Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth infiltrated it and formed their nest within its ranks. Yep, we were told of this. After the Queen entrusted me with leading their order, Anivia and I practically built it from scratch. We got rid of dead weight, people who weren't committed. We organized ways to transmit messages and orders safely. We introduced reliable ciphers. We found tacit allies around the city, from Crusader orders to street beggars. This was my personal crusade to purge the city of the Templars who had infested it. And I thought I was winning. I could feel it. We were so close to driving the cultists out of Canabras. But Erebeth frowns. It's hard to admit, but those successes didn't count for much once the demons entered the city. Okay. On the contrary, if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be a headquarters at the Defender's Heart, and the cultists would have served up the city on a platter to the demons. Yeah, it takes an organized person to be like, hey, everybody, meet up at this place. This is a safe place. So no, you didn't fail. The lines on Erebeth's forehead soften. Yes, that's true. It's a good thing we achieved something. Thank you. I have to go now. Go. May Imode keep you safe. Thanks. I appreciate that. Hey, you got stuff to sell? A strange figure towers over the bar, a huge, ungainly man with skin so milky white that his blue veins are visible even from a distance. His bald head is equal parts lumpy and pitted, and blood-filled eyes stare impassively out at you from beneath his pale brows. The glass in the albino's large, clumsy hands looks dangerously delicate, as if one twitch of the calloused finger would be enough to crush it. A gold medallion engraved with a tankard gleams around his neck. What'll it be? Oh, a tankard. He's a Kylian. He worships Cain Kylian, which is the god of adventure, drinking, and something else. I don't remember everything. I don't have everything memorized. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. It's right here in front of my face. The medallion you're wearing, that's the sacred symbol, isn't it? Are you a cleric of King Kylian? I'm a tavern keeper, best in the city. The best there's ever been, and I pray to the best god there is. Fair enough. Who are you? The albino slowly takes your measure with his red eyes, and finally, with a gentle sigh, says, Gamil Hawks. Vampire. Are you really a vampire? Gamil gives you a long look of reproach, then grudgingly answers, no. Oh, no, I don't know. How'd you end up in Crusader City? How did anyone end up here? How did you, or them? With a huge hand, the tavern keeper gestures at the ragtag group assembled in the room. The world is big, but there's still but still there isn't a place for everyone. People who no longer have a life anywhere else, they end up here. So you don't have a life anywhere else? Any news in the city? The albino looks around. There are demons everywhere, and you showed up. Thanks. I feel super caught up. Are there any places in the city worth visiting? If you mean places that normal people usually stay well away from, then there are plenty. Like the Pitaxian wine cellar. Gimel pauses for effect, like the name of the place alone should make you quiver in fear. It once belonged to a Pitaxian trading house. Then King Iravetti came to power in Pitax. Oh hey, you're coming back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. And property started changing hands. Soon after, the seller's shop assistant was found in a ditch. Not all of him, mind, just his head. Numerian gangsters had taken possession of the place. They wanted to sell something stronger than wine on the street. Then they ended up on the gallows. Then King Iravetti's number was up. So now the store stands empty and unclaimed. People say that a headless ghost wanders the place at night, moaning ghoulishly. Ooh. After coming to this end of the story, unusually long by his standards, the tavern keeper takes a swig from his tankard. Just don't ask me how he makes any noise with no head. I wasn't there. I just tell it like I heard it. Fair enough. Show me what you got. I don't have a lot, but... There it is, a weapon. It's a short sword. Finesse. Flaming. Not bad. Anyone that really could use it. I think I sold everything already. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of... Nah. Keeping it. Okay. Okay, I think... Hillor. Who's Hillor?
We do it my way.
Well, hello. A tall, athletic man greets you. His hair is prematurely gray and shorn close to his head in a military style. He is lean and well-groomed, and a monocle twinkles coldly in his eye. The bold set of his jaw and his large but agile frame attest that he is a man who is always ready to be on the move. Greetings, I am Hillor, venture captain of the Pathfinder Society. Not surprising to see the Pathfinder Society really anywhere. I'm a superior officer among Pathfinders in this region of Mendev. However, the Society is running almost no operations here right now. Besides me, there are almost no Pathfinders here. Actually, I'm only stuck here because of an old feud with a demon worshipper known as the Spinner of Nightmares. Hey! I saw that phrase in the book when I looked at it. I've had to work alone without the support of the Society, but I've made a lot of acquaintances among the local mercenaries and daring fighters. If you need any good fighters for an honest cause, talk to me. Yep. I need to set this up. Tell me about your confrontation with the Spinner of Nightmares. Such a cool name, Spinner of Nightmares. It all began with a task of the Pathfinder Society. I arrived in Nerosian with my team to investigate the sudden death of a famous crusader, Baron Falrin. We soon focused in on a small hospital for the wealthy, where Falrin was treated shortly before his death. It turned out that a gang of Baphomet cultists, calling themselves the Labyrinth of Mind, had gotten a foothold at the hospital. Man, there are a lot of cultists here. They were obsessed with twisting the minds of their victims and targeted fragile people too weak to resist. Well, that's... The hospital was filled with perfect victims, isolated for weeks from the outside world, completely helpless. And when they returned, they were different, almost normal. But the moment they heard a certain phrase, something dark awoke in their minds, and they transformed into servants of Baphomet, ready to lie, betray, and even kill. The Labyrinth of Mind was preparing to infiltrate all the elite circles in Mendev, but Baron Falrun stopped them. He was too loyal to his oath and too resistant to their spells. He fought for his freedom until the strain broke his heart. We opened and cleaned the city of Baphomet's pit of vipers. Their den was a cradle of sin and filth. They cast spells on each other, and their loathsome fantasies stepped real from their minds into the world. They dreamt of horrible and forbidden things, and they fought like mad. We burned the place to the ground and slaughtered everyone we could, but the leader of the cult were able to flee, and they were set upon revenge. They abducted my daughter. Oh shit. They abducted my daughter Lori, who served under my command in the Pathfinder Society. They left me a note full of tart insults, mockery, and sneers. From the note, I learned the name of my enemy, the Spinner of Nightmares. A few months later, I confirmed that she was the leader of the Labyrinth of Mind. My hunt had begun. I would get Lori back at any cost. Hiller grits his teeth with bulldog determination. Okay. I want to know more about you. What exactly are you interested in? I am a common Pathfinder. There are many others like me. Fate and my order brought me to this land. How did you end up here? Well, we already know this. I'm not going to read it. Tell me about your daughter. Yeah, tell me what she looks like. Hiller smiles, showing his healthy white teeth. As a girl, Lori was just an angel. We lost her mother early on. She was left to follow my example. A drifter with little idea how to talk to a 10-year-old girl. But even with such questionable parenting, Lori managed to grow into a wonderful girl. Brave, smart, beautiful, and entirely unbearable. She always argued with me about everything. And that's so funny. When Lori was 18 and told me she was going to be a Pathfinder, all I said was, alright. I knew there was no use to try and talk her out of it. And she was a fine Pathfinder. Hiller's fist clenched with a painful sounding crack. I'll never forgive the Spinner of Nightmares for taking my girl from me. Tell me about the Pathfinder Society. The Pathfinder Society is a global organization that unites opportunists and adventurers of all kinds. We explore the world and uncover its secrets, travel, and sometimes face down threats. In times of trouble, the latter becomes our primary focus. We're driven by curiosity and the desire to make the world a better place. And of course, seek profit or hunger for glory. But in any case, it's hard work. They might send you anywhere on a mission. Weaklings have little place in the society. It's more for seasoned fighters. There are society lodges in many cities. The closest one is in Nerosian. They're each led by venture captains, lads like me. The Grand Lodge is in Absalom, the center of the world. The Decemvirate sits there, the anonymous council of our leaders. I don't have that kind of money right now. You can rely on my lads, but you'll have to pay them 4,500 as their standard rate. Ow. I'm sorry, but the Society has established universal rates to avoid competition between Pathfinders of different countries. You guys could be dead. And you're worried about money. My companions and I need good training? I will get a great mentor from Absalom for the first few times. He'll train your fighters free of charge. Oh no, I don't want to retrain. Okay, so that's how we retrain if we want to. But hey, I'll help you out with your daughter, dude. I said Anivia was over here somewhere. Saw it. Oh. Gosh, I completely missed her. She blended in. Anivia in her muted colors blends almost perfectly in the background. Yeah, they did a really good job on that. She appears relaxed, but her seemingly unfocused eyes are taking in everything around her, tracking and filtering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers in her hip near her weapon sheath. She shows no signs of her injuries and confidently leans on her previously broken leg. Oh, so she's better, that's good. She pretends to have just noticed you, even though she watched you approach from afar. Oh, hey! See how they patched me up? Now I can run, jump, and dance a jig if I feel like it. Are there any suspicious places in the city I should pay attention to? There are a couple of spots I wanted to check out, but I didn't have time. If there really is a den of cultists there, it would be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need need a search warrant. Well, yeah, I suppose warrants are kind of out the window right now. Excuse me. Anivia shoots you a crooked smile. First one is the Silken Thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric. But they always seem oh so busy. They're busy with something in there, alright, but sewing ain't it. Second one is the Alchemy shop, Topaz Solutions. Such a cool name. They come up with such good names. They trade in everything, not just healing potions, judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market. There's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going down in that place. Okay. What are your responsibilities in the Eagle Watch? Anivia smiles evasively. Nothing official. I'm not even a knight, you know. I just hang around. You sure you want to know the details? Catching traitors and spies and cultists is no walk in the park. It's a delicate job. You can't always do it all within the letter of the law. What if we surprise some suspicious blighter with an official search? Everyone will know about it before long, starting with their cronies. Then again, sneaking into people's houses at night ain't exactly legal. Crusaders can't be doing stuff like that, can they? Well, I'm not exactly a knight. The girl trails off. Gotcha. Tell me about yourself. The girl shrugs with a lazy smile. I'd be happy to, but there's kind of nothing to tell. What's so interesting about me? Where are you from? Nowhere. I was blown in by the wind and found in a cabbage patch. The girl stopped short. Sorry, that's an old habit of mine. I don't like blabbing about my past, but you saved my skin, so I guess I kind of owe it to you not to clown around, right? I'm from Nidal. Ooh. No, you aren't. Are you? And I wouldn't wish my homeland on my worst enemy. No, that place is terrible. You've heard of the place, I'm sure, ruled by monsters that aren't alive nor dead. And the official religion is the cult of Zonkathon. I grew up in a slum, like a weed between the cobblestones. I didn't have a dad, but I had a lot of aunts and uncles. My mom's cronies. No prize for guessing the kind of business she was involved in. They gave me a set of lockpicks as soon as I could hold a spoon. And while other kids were picking their noses, I was picking pockets. When I was 12, the monks of the Silent Shroud came for us. Oh no. Creepy guys with their mouths sewn shut. They're the guards in Nisroch. Mom gave me to her friends and we hid in the secret temple of Desna. I never saw my mom again. Oh honey, you're probably not gonna want to ever see your mother again. Not if they took her. And if you were given to Des Knights, that's even worse, because that means your mother was a Des Knight, and they are royally gonna screw her up. I lay low in the temple for the next few years, kept my head down. I washed floors, fetched water, listened to sermons. Funny thing, after a while I started liking Desna's teachings, but as soon as I was old enough, I was out of there. I left Nidal and got as far away as I could. That's fair, that place sucks. Quite a ragtag group you've got here, from nobles to street thieves. You got that right. Only the best for you. What do you do if the knights and nobles fail to save the world? The lowlives are your only hope. How did you meet Irabeth? I was bumming around Timon a while back, doing this and that. Desmond Temple sometimes gave me odd jobs. You know, sometimes they needed people with skills like mine. On the surface, it was fine, I guess. After Nidal, the freedom of River Kingdoms should have seemed like heaven, my chance to sit back and enjoy life. But I wasn't happy. There just wasn't any joy in my new life. I was all alone. No one cared about me, and I didn't care about anybody either. I struggled to find a reason to drag myself out of bed every morning. Tying a stone around my neck and jumping into the nearest river started to look pretty appealing. No, don't, no. One day I was hired to follow some fellows who the local authorities suspected were Rasmussen spies. I was stupid, I made a rookie mistake, and they caught me. It's like my body had already decided to do what my mind had been fighting, to finally put me out of my misery. Get someone else to kill me since I didn't have the guts to do it myself. They grabbed me. I thought they'd gut me on the spot, but instead they hog-tied me and dragged me off. And just like an animal going to the slaughter, my only thought was, let's get this over with. They brought me to their stinking cave, threw me on their altar, and I realized who it was. Huthites from Nidal. Those are people that worship Zunkathon. They tracked me down after all those years, but I didn't care anymore. Wouldn't even have cared if they'd eaten me or whatever. We all gotta go sometime, right? So I was lying there staring at those knives pointed at me when fate rolled the dice and I hit the jackpot. Irabeth. There she was, storming into the cave. Picture it, I'm lying on the altar with all these knife-wielding maniacs around me, and suddenly Irabeth storms in. I thought it was Imade herself, fierce in her shining armor with her gleaming sword raised. She made quick work of those scumbags, chopped them up just like that. I didn't have time to blink. She untied me, and then... The girl's face lights up as she chuckles. She looked through the papers they had on the table, and she started swearing like a sailor. So much for Imade. How did you and Irabeth end up in Canabras? After almost becoming a human sacrifice, I knew I never wanted to leave Irabeth's side. Desna knows I fell for her instantly, and I fell hard. My misery was gone. And when Irabeth showed me what was in those papers, proof that cultists had a nest in her home city, well, I offered to help without a second thought. Anivia smiles warmly. She must have figured I couldn't wait to get my revenge on the cultists, but I didn't give a damn about them. It was her. I'd go anywhere with her, even on a crusade or into the jaws of a dragon. That's so sweet. But I took to life in Canabras like a duck to water. I used to be an outcast wherever I went, but half of the crusaders are the same. After all, who'd volunteer to tangle with demons on the edge of the abyss? You gotta be either a goody two-shoes with too much honor and free time, or a misfit with no life out of the normal, with normal people. People come here to run away from their debts, their past, from themselves. So I fit right in. What's it like living with Irabeth? It's like living. Without her, I wouldn't be. Seriously, if I were alone, I'd definitely be gone by now. Sure, sometimes we argue, can't deny that. Sometimes we bang our fists on the table and yell so loud the walls shake. But that's all about order business. But at home... Well, I'll give you an example. I've kind of always wanted to move out of that broom closet we call a house and into somewhere cozier. It ain't like they take a vow of poverty at the Eagle Watch. But every month, somehow, most of our spare money is spent on Crusader business. Sure, I get mad about it, but Anivia makes a helpless gesture. It's part of why I love her so much. It's so sweet. You know, Irabeth has that thing that matters most for a person, a purpose in life. She's always got a reason for whatever she's doing. Her whole life is a crusade. And I just drift around like a leaf in the wind. Until Desna brought us together. Now she's the meaning of my life. So it really makes no difference if we live in a mansion or under a bush. Thank you for your answers. Thanks for asking. Telling you all this kind of made me feel better. I have to go. Alright, you watch yourself now. Thanks. Trouble tends to find me, though. Thorn Autumn Haze? Okay. Staunton. Did we talk to Staunton? Have we talked to Staunton? No. The dwarf resembles an abandoned citadel, one whose high, crumbling walls are still holding fast, but whose empty, lightless windows make it clear that all inside is dead. Woof. Oh, it's you. Good work back there in the Grey Garrison, named Staunton Vane. If you've heard rumors about me, his face, which looks like it has never known anything as carefree as a smile, grimaces. Just so you know, everything people say about me, it's true. What do people say about you? They say I'm a traitor as bad as Arilu Vorlesh. That I'm a disgrace even among the ranks of the condemned. That Queen Gallifrey should never have spared me, that I belong on the gallows. Why do they hate you so much? You really don't know? Staunton gives you a long, morose look, then sighs. I'm the reason why the Crusade forces are holed up in the fortress on the edge of the world wound, instead of bringing the fight to the demons. We used to have a foothold in the wound, the mighty, unassailable city of Dresden. We used to have it until it fell, and all because of my stupidity. I gave the enemy our main citadel. I was tried. They wanted to execute me, and rightly so, but the Queen intervened. She said that I could live and fight in order to undo what I'd done. So that's how I live, decade after decade, fighting in the condemned. The dwarf shrugs. As you can see, I have fixed nothing, and I have earned no one's forgiveness. Are you going to spit in my face too? It won't surprise me. The condemned is a military unit made up of petty criminals conscripted as disposable soldiers and frontline fodder in the Medevian Crusades. That's kind of fucked up. Hope you earn forgiveness. I hope you earn forgiveness. Thank you. From the depths of my soul, I thank you. But I haven't had hope for a long, long time. A whole city fell because of you? How's that even possible? What do you mean, how? The knight glares at you from under his furrowed brow. If you don't trust the word of the condemned, go ask somebody else, like my little brother Joran. And if you still don't believe me, if you still don't believe it, what's to me? What's it to me? But if you're about to ask me to recount the story of my disgrace for the 1000th time, don't. You really don't have any friends? I couldn't have survived this long if I was completely alone. Joran, my little brother, he keeps me going. He's never abandoned me. Even everyone else shies away from me like they might catch what I've got. Even fighters in the condemned console themselves by thinking, I got stripped of my rank, but at least I'm not Staunton. That's sad. So many years in the condemned, surely you've paid your penance by now. Oh, Commander Tirabe seems to be the only person in the whole army who remembers that I'm a soldier and not a drudge. She has no qualms about taking me into battle. She's had some mud flung at her in the past. Or so I hear. That's why she tries to keep an open mind about people. It's no surprise that she's the only one to hold onto her sense of reason in this farce. Surely you paid your penance by now. That's not for me to decide. My life is in the Queen's hands. He falls silent for a moment and then in a trembling voice adds, the condemned isn't the worst part. All these years I have prayed to Torag for forgiveness. Countless times I've gone to his priest. Countless times I've kneeled before his altar. If only the Father of Dwarven kind would answer my prayers just once. Not to restore what I've lost, but just to tell me that I am still one of his children. But it seems he doesn't give a damn about me. What can I expect from mere mortals when my own god doesn't think I deserve redemption? Listen, I'm sure Torag has good reasons. Like, I'm sure he's busy with other shit. I need to talk to the elf who calls himself the Storyteller. Do you know where I can find him? The Storyteller. Staunton strokes his beard in thought. A strange old fellow, that one. He used to sit with me for hours asking about all sorts of things. He never offered judgment or comfort, he just listened. At first I wanted him and his questions as far away from me as possible. But later I realized that talking to him did ease my burden a little. I hope he is alive and well. He's completely blind, and feeble too. So if he's alone in the city, well, you probably know what that means. I do know one place he might be. Look for him in the Black Wing. It's a library here. I'll show you where it is on the map. I don't know what use the library is to a blind elf, but he loved the place. He would sit there day and night. Okay. Go on then. Maybe we'll see each other again. I'm sure we will. Seem important. Okay, let's see. Okay, we talked to everybody over here. That was Staunton. gotta go talk to that guy. Hello? Jurnog. A young man in well-worn traveling clothes and a simple wooden symbol of Erastil on his chest is efficiently cutting a linen robe into strips to use as bandages. Despite his visible exhaustion, he works with zeal. Singing some tune about red braids and ripe sheaves of wheat under his breath, he raises his warm chestnut-colored eyes to you. Are you one of the Crusaders? Thank you for defending those of us whose talents lie off the battlefield. I'm Jurnog, servant of Erastil. Pleased to meet you. What are you doing? I only took my holy orders recently, so my god has only bestowed a little of his power upon me as yet. I'm sorry to say that the number of wounded fighters in this tavern is far beyond my power to heal. But there's a reason people say, have faith in the gods, but look to yourself first. I may not be able to help with the wounded with magic, but I at least can cut up bandages. That's a good way of looking at it. Are you from around here? No, I was just passing by through Canabras. I was sailing down that old man of ours, the Great Selen River, to a village by the name of Chili Creek. I happened to land in the city on the eve of the festival, and I'm ashamed to say I decided to stay for a day to enjoy myself, but I ended up staying in the city longer than I'd bargained for. Chili Creek, where is that? It's a small fishing village. It's not even marked on the maps, but people do live there. What they don't have is a priest. They have no one to heal their wounds, no one to offer prayers for a good catch, no one to give their dead a dignified burial. And the world wound is a stone's throw away. So I'll be setting sail for Chili Creek to serve my god and my people. Once we've held Canabras, I'll be going there. If by the grace of the good gods we all survive this, you should come and visit me sometime. You'll find the village here on the bank of the river. The priest marks Chili Creek on your map. Cool. Aren't you a young and inexperienced cleric afraid to go to the border of the world wound? I won't lie, I am afraid, but what can I do? Those villagers are simple people. Every day of their short lives is spent doing hard, honest work. That is exactly the kind of life I want, something simple but meaningful. If I had centuries ahead of me like elves do, I might have spared some 50 years or so to travel around the world. The young man says with a smile. Or maybe even 100, why not? But I don't have time to spare, so I want to spend my short life in the place where I'm needed the most, even if it's dangerous, especially if it's dangerous. There are a lot of really good people here. A lot of really kind people here. I could use the help of a cleric. Jurnog makes a helpless gesture. Erastil knows I'd be glad to help you, but it's no use. My spells are depleted and I have no training in potions or scrolls. See this robe? I'm cutting up for bandages. It's the second to last one. Alright, I have to go. May Erastil watch over you. Oh yeah, so I finished leveling up all the characters after I ended the last video. So now our Aurora, our character, can make potions whenever they camp. And that's super cool, and I'm super excited to try that out. Because for me, it makes sense that a witch would be able to brew potions. I don't know. It seems a very witchy thing to be able to do. Hi, Mr. Elf. Foreign Autumn Haze. Get a drink. A tall, fragile-looking elf sits in front of you, eyes closed. He is pale as a ghost, his arm wrapped in a blood-stained bandage. You spot other bandages on his body under his clothes, but even in such a miserable state, he manages to keep calm. Raising his eyes to meet yours, he says faintly, I am Foreign Autumn Haze, at your service. His pale lips are reddened by blood, but you see no signs of pain or fear in his gray eyes. You need help? After giving you a cold, intense look, he shakes his head. Do not trouble yourself on my behalf. A local healer tended to me. Besides, I come from a resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wounds and the poison delivered through them. You're an elf. Elves are not known for being hardy. You're known for being very thin. Pretty. Who are you? My name is Fornautum Hayes. I've come here from Keonan because I am a hunter and all million of evils. Oh, and all minions of evil are my quarry. I won't say more than that. If you don't mind, we are strangers and of different races and cultures. I'd rather not tell you more than is necessary. For those of you who don't know, Keonan is basically the country of elves. I believe it's a chaotic, good nation ran by a queen. And it's really a beautiful, foresty place. Again, with mostly elves in it. Who wounded you? A sinner and accomplice to demons. The quarry I am hunting in this inhospitable place. I'm Aurora, you can trust me. I might be able to help you. After a brief pause, Forn says, it would be impolite to refuse such a direct and friendly offer. Who is your quarry here in Mendev? I was hunting a fugitive, a Descarite by the name of Kaelessa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I managed to catch up to her in Canabras and I wounded her. Then demons appeared and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued and couldn't free her soul from its service to her dark masters. He expresses no anger or hatred as he speaks, only compassionate sorrow. I'm sorry for your misfortune. I hope things will turn out differently next time. He purses his lips. There is no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. We gain a deeper understanding of the world than other races, and we learn our lessons better than anyone. Wow, you're pretty full of yourself, aren't you? That goes for learning from our mistakes as well. I survived, which means I will be more prepared the next we meet. I'd like to know more about you before I accept a quest. I won't hold anything back, not who I am, why I made my way here, or who it is that I'm pursuing. Tell me more about yourself. Other peoples tend to believe that identity is the sum of a person's actions and the events that happen to them. For them, I am one of the long line of warriors of Keonan, who since his youth has dedicated himself to hunting evil and injustice. For them, I am a successful and capable huntsman who has tracked down and slain a great many monsters. But I am an elf, and for me my identity has a different meaning. It is shaped by the place where I was born and that I love so deeply. I am shaped by what I find beautiful and what makes my heart quicken, by the fears that come to me in the dead of night, by the things I find so intolerable that at the sight of them my very core darkens and fills with poison. Thus to tell you who I am, I would require many days and much candor, which is more than you and I have at our disposal. You are being incredibly vague. I don't know if the vagueness is on purpose, or if he's just that full of himself. Why did you choose to be a hunter of evil? Because I am the son of a noble and proud nation. We are sometimes criticized for our arrogance, yes, but no one dares doubt our honor. Well, when a crime is committed, we cannot turn a blind eye. If we were to abandon our obligation to oppose evil, if we were to surrender this obligation to other races, we would also relinquish our preeminence. Yeah, alright. I wish to aid you in your hunt. Orin covers his eyes warily. I thank you, but this is my mission. I am used to facing all manner of terrors on my own. I do appreciate your willingness to help. If you happen to meet Kaelessa, take caution. She has turned many innocent souls to the path of evil, and darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that. It is warped. The agate skin, the malicious stare of her blood-red eyes, the bestial teeth. She is more monster than elf at this point. What does this Kaelessa look like? Oh, come on. Her skin is dark, her hair preternaturally white. Her red eyes can see perfectly in the dark, which, to my dismay, I've come to know the experience. But bright light causes her kind pain. I used alchemical powder that explodes in a dazzling flash, and she cried out as if I had stabbed her. This sounds like a drow. It's clear this woman is a faithful servant of the darkness, that the marks that Kaelessa's masters have left on her appearance say as much. No, she's a drow. She sounds like a drow. Purple skin, white hair, red eyes, hurts to see the light. She sounds like a drow. Okay. Alright. That goes outside. There's something to the basement. Doesn't look like there's a way upstairs. Okay. Alright, let's save since we've done everybody's conversation on the floor. And now we'll go to the basement. See what's down there. Oh my gosh, I remember this from the trailer! No, don't you. Surrender thy soul, Delvin. Emode, protect us. Ha ha ha, got you again. How many times is that today? Take your jokes and shove them, tiefling. Well, easy there, chief. Don't hit me. This is... I know who this is, because I watched the character trailers when they came out. I'm super stoked about this guy. Hey.
Hey, Chief!
Oh my god, it's voiced!
Hey, gorgeous. Come over here. I want to talk to you about something. Something really important.
Okay. The young tiefling sits cross-legged on the floor. He looks relatively calm for someone in shackles, but his tail whips back and forth in agitation. Noticing your attention, the tiefling sits up and beckons you over. Hey, Chief. Hey, gorgeous. Oh boy, here we go.
Quit bothering the decent people in here, Woljiff, or I'll knock your teeth out!
What's it to you, Delvin Dum-Dum? You were told to guard me, and I'm not stopping you. But no one told me I had to shut my trap.
Who are you?
Woljiff. Woljiff Jeffdo. I deal in useful things. I can get you whatever you want. Anything. But there's just one problem.
Uh-huh. The tiefling rattles his chains and gives you a meaningful look. Woljiff Jeffdo sounds like a magic spell, like you would wave a wand and just say it. Woljiff Jeffdo. Wonder if that's on purpose. What do you want from me?
I'll lay it out for you. Simple job, 30 minutes tops. We go someplace, talk to someone, and in return, whatever you want, I'll get it for you. Some extra rations? No problem. Armor, weapons, scrolls, you name it. It's as good as yours. If you need my help with something, whistle and I'll be there. I'm handy enough with knives too, and even my magic know-how isn't too shabby.
What a load of guff! If you were good at magic, you wouldn't be stuck in here now, would you?
Don't you listen to him, Chief. He'd find fault with the Queen herself. I'll be useful to have in battle, and I'll sell whatever you want at a reasonable price. It's your lucky day. You won't meet another gem like me in Canabras.
Oh, I'm sure. Why are you arrested?
Does it really matter?
Yes.
Don't get hung up on the past, Chief. Don't look to the future. Live in the here and now.
I like my future, though.
He was caught thieving.
Ah. Your shadow, what was that?
Get me out of here and I'll tell you. And don't worry, it's not contagious.
Tiefling grins and laughs. I can't help you while you're chained up here. How can I free you?
That's easy. You know Irabeth? Feisty looking gal, always wears armor. You can't miss her. She's the meanest fighter in the whole city. When you see her, put in a good word for me, will ya? Tell her there's this guy, Woljiff, locked up for no good reason in the Defender's Heart. Well, for the follies of his youth. And he really wants to get out on bail so he can keep up his good behavior and make a contribution to society. You got that? Will you do it?
For the follies of his youth? So he can get out and keep up his good behavior? Oh my god, this guy's hilarious. Alright, you sold me on it. I'll talk to Irabeth about your situation.
I knew I could count on you. Knew it the moment I laid eyes on you.
We'll talk later. First, I'm gonna steal shit. Yeah, because I want to sell it. Okay. Oh, wow, hey! Ooh. Okay, there's a button. There's a button. Alright, 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 alright. Ooh. Oh, well, first this. Okay. Okay, there's a lever. Lever. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Oh boy. I would hate to have to look this up too. See, I think this is just gonna be a brute force thing. Heard it. Heard it. Heard it.
Follow
Heard it.
if you dare.
Heard it. Ha! Yellowed letter. Half a century ago, our parents fled their homeland of Sarkoris, terrified of the invading demons. They were certain that the war would soon be over, so they didn't go too far and found their refuge here in Canabras. They used what little savings they had to build a tavern here. Any crusader could get a bowl of soup and a good night's rest in exchange for some money and news about their recent victories. The city looked completely different back then. It was a triumphant city full of hope-inspiring songs and brave paladins with shining armor. We praised Our Lady Pelura openly and hoped that the lands of our ancestors would be ours again in no time. Things have changed since then, though. Our parents have left to the goddess's halls. Dresden is gone. The world wound grows deeper every day, and the Crusaders seem to take more interest in fighting each other and us, townsfolk, than in eradicating demons. Halrund has gone mad and now puts all his inquisitive zeal into burning witches. Today, Canabras is a city of fear and suspicion. We even had to hide our altar of the Shimmering Maiden in the basement so that they wouldn't accuse us of demon worship. I don't know who the Shimmering Maiden is. Queen Galfrey has recently appointed Halrund the prelate of Canabras. Now nothing will stop this murderer from taking complete control of the city into his hands and serving his so-called justice on everyone. You know, Halrund seems like an asshole. His previous acts of violence were just the beginning of a full-scale massacre. We have to flee, run like our parents did. This time not from demons, but from the Crusaders. Soon we will sell our tavern and leave, anywhere away from this agony of this endless war. May Pelura protect this city from whatever comes next. 10th of Lamashen, 4682, Swargal family of the Devimai clan. Shimmering Maiden. Ooh. Shimmering. Can I identify this? No. I can't. Okay. Let's see what this head thing is. Ooh, charisma. We're not a charisma build, we're a witch. I'm suspicious of you, so I don't want to give you anything. Excuse me. I'll hold off on it. Just keep it. Where does this lead? It makes me wonder. Oh. Okay. Cool. Oh, we gotta go talk to Erebeth for Woljiff. I do want to talk to that guy, the bartender, see if he remembers anything about the people that lived here. Like, who sold him the tavern. So see if we can get some information on that. Hey, there's a tiefling chained up in the Defender's Heart. What can you tell me about him? Erebeth shrugs scornfully. Woljiff is a petty thief from a gang of Thieflings operating in Canabras. That's what we call them in these parts. They tried to rob a vendor of magical items recently. Unfortunately, we apprehended only one of them and the rest managed to escape. We have nowhere else to keep him apart from the Defender's Heart, but that's hardly a prison. Woljiff knows it too. He's been begging us for days to let him go free or have someone vouch for him. He's already asked you to put in a good word for him, hasn't he? Erebeth squints at you thoughtfully, then shrugs. If you want to recruit Woljiff and put him to good use, go ahead and take him off our guards' hands. We can ill afford to let a prisoner spend their days watching over a middling thief. I hope the tiefling proves useful, should you decide to take him along. Go, may Imode keep you safe. Yeah, I need a rogue. Can't wait to see what his alignment is. I'm pretty sure it's chaotic neutral. Most rogues are. Especially if they're charming. They tend to be chaotic neutral. That's just the stereotype.
Well, Chief, what do you got for me?
Woljiff is sitting in the same place with his tail impatiently batting the door. Let me out. It's like his tail is being like, let me out. Let me out. It's funny, he's like a cat. I talked to Erebeth and I've decided to make you part of my troupe. We'll see how it goes.
Ha! You must be a smooth talker. Come on, Delvin. Get these bracelets of yours off me. I'm going free.
Woljiff leaps to his feet and gleefully rubs his hands.
You're sure to regret this.
Probably.
This tiefling will fleece you for everything you've got. Mark my words.
Probably. I make a lot of bad life choices.
You're a bitter little man, Delvin. Petty and mean. You can't even be happy for me, can you? I pity you. I'll leave you alone with your sad little soul. So long. And now, Chief, straight down to business. You see, I'm one of those guys that people around here call Thieflings. We just call ourselves the family.
Oh.
After we knocked over that shop and I got stuck here in the Defender's Heart, a little bird told me that big sister Charisme wanted to see me. That she had some questions to ask me. You following?
Sure. Woljiff is freed from his shackles and rubs his chafed wrists. He glances around, making sure that no one is listening in.
Now, she won't be asking me questions like, Woljiff, how'd you manage to get out of this one? Or, Woljiff, you're so thin, didn't they feed you? No, something serious has gone down, and I just know they want to try to pin something on me. I can feel it in my tail. So, I knew right away that I couldn't go alone. You turned up just in time, Chief. You don't need to do anything when we get there. Just stand behind me and look mean, and I'll handle the rest. Somehow. Let's go, I'll show you the way.
That ending. I'll show you the way. He's so funny. Man, I'm looking forward to this guy. I also just have a soft spot for tieflings. It's kick puppy syndrome. I personally have a soft spot for kick puppies. That could be half orc, that could be tiefling, that could be... It could be anything that's had a rough upbringing. Could be a human. I just have a soft spot for kick puppies. I am like, oh my gosh, you're hurt, let me help you. It's just
I do what I must.
what I do. Okay, let's go upstairs. Because I want to see if Woljiff's up there now. there. Oh, item. Yep, there he is. First item. Yes. Item. Ha. Thought you could hide from me, pot? Well, you can't. Ooh, that'll be helpful. Okay. Hi, Woljiff. Hey, Chief, want to talk? I want to know more about you. How much is more? Are your family tieflings too? My family. It's an interesting story, actually, but I don't tell it to just anyone. My father and mother had a bakery. Their life was great, but the gods never blessed them with any children. One day my mother went to the river to wash some clothes and saw a basket floating downstream. Inside the basket was a baby, adorable and chubby and fast asleep. It was yours truly. In my hand was a note spritzed with expensive perfume that said, "Take care of my little angel." My mother brought me home and she and my father realized right away that I was heaven sent. I don't believe you. They raised me as their own, and when I turned 15, my mother showed me my baby blanket. It was embroidered with the coat of arms of an unknown kingdom, all in gold thread. Ever since then, I've been looking for my real parents, but it's not easy. Traveling takes money. So if you have a few gold coins, I'll pay you back as soon as I find my real family. I give you my word. I'm gonna call bullshit. That doesn't sound very believable. Seriously? Usually everyone just believes everything I say. People love stories like that. You know, a cute baby, a basket, a blanket. What's not to love? They look at me differently, as if I'm worth more just because the sheets I spit up on might have been a fancier coat of arms on them. Might have had a fancier coat of arms on them. Woljiff laughs bitterly. If I was really a prince, I wouldn't be sitting around here, I can tell you that much. I'd have already gone to take what was rightfully mine. And then I'd come back with an army, so I could catch the guards and merchants who pushed me around all my life, bow and scrape before me. But that's not gonna happen. Want to hear the story? Want to hear the real story? Yes. I would. The true story is boring. My family is human, both my father and my mother. They used to live in a village nearby. I forget the name. When my ma had me, my old man got so mad he almost killed her. Pinned her to the wall, started asking questions like why his son had horns and a tail. Well, my ma told him that her mother, my grandma, used to fool around with a demon. When he heard this, Daddy Dearest got drunk, trashed the house, and then took off. Sounds like a gem of a dad. I don't remember any of this, of course. My grandma told me. I remember any of this, of course. My grandma told me. I was about 3 years old when my mother brought me to Canabras and left me with my grandma. She said to her, "You and your demon have ruined my life. Now you handle him." That's terrible! Then she left. I haven't seen her or my dad since. She did leave a blanket, though. That part was true. But my grandma burned it because it was infested with lice. Oh, gosh. It wasn't even good enough to use as a rag. I'm so sorry. You think after all that, my grandmother saw the light, felt rightly ashamed, and kissed my horns? I wish. Woljiff grins nastily, his yellow eyes flashing. People used to give her trouble for fooling around with a demon. She wasn't welcome anywhere, so she got angry. Normal kids get bedtime stories, see? But the only tales I got told were how my dad was worthless, my mom was a slut, and I was demon spawn that no one cared about. She only kept me so I could help around the house and steal things she needed. So that's the truth. That's awful. How'd you become a tiefling? Woljiff grins happily. I was already a tiefling and life made me a thief. I've been in the business since I was a kid. Grandma used to say if you don't work, you don't eat. And she gave me as an apprentice to Yigger, a tiefling neighbor of ours. He was a cunning old geezer. He knew how to take a purse off somebody's belt, how to cut open bags undetected, even do some magic. I used to climb through basement windows and open doors from the inside while I was still small enough. And when I grew and stopped fitting through the windows, I decided I was done with my education. I repaid my grandma for everything she'd done for me, which was absolutely nothing. Why would I feed her if she wasn't bringing me any money? If you don't work, you don't eat, so I took off. I got bored of my teacher, too. But when I as much as hinted at leaving, he said I owed him for my education. So I just nodded, and then I joined the Owlbears, the gang that ran our district, and told them that Eager was working their territory. I don't know what happened to him, but I stayed with the Owlbears. Then their leader started giving me the cold shoulder. I did steal from him, but never that much, so I had to rat them out to the guards. Then I joined the Golden Hands. That was a good time, rich pickings. I'm starting to see a pattern here. I would have stayed with the Golden Hands, but the Northmen promised me a bigger cut if I told them where the Golden Hands kept their loot. I'm no fool, of course, so I told them. After that, I only had one option to join the Northmen. And then the family came. At first, no one took them seriously, calling themselves Thieflings and all that. But I felt it right away. They had power behind them, and they had more money. I'm always on the winner side, Chief. That's why I joined the Thieflings. And right on time, some thugs came from the capital and made the Northmen leave. The ones who survived are in the family now, too. Wow. So, you just kind of jump from place to place, don't you? Alright, guys. Tell me about the Thieflings. Alright. I won't tell you everything, mine, but I can tell you a little. The Thieflings are Mendevian thieves. The gang was started in Mendev's capital by someone or other, and soon after they'd spread all over Galarian. They're also called the Family. You know why? Because us Thieflings are easy to spot. Wherever we go, guards always hassle us asking, "Are you lost or summit? Hornhead?" We usually say we're visiting family, and if they say, "Oh yeah, who?" you give them the name of the local Thiefling, who confirms everything, even if he's never seen you before in his life. That's why we're all brothers and sisters. That's actually super cool. I really like that. Super neat. There are rules. Who does what, who gets what cut. I won't say how, I won't say it's a lot, but they make it worth your while. They'll even heal you if you take an arrow. But the biggest no-no is this. You don't steal from the family. If you don't contribute to the shared pot, you'll get the cold shoulder. You won't be treated like family no more. And then everyone will hear that you went to visit some relatives who have a farm someplace. My best guess, the farm is in some underground well beneath Canabras where they breed grave worms. If Sister Charisme, our boss, looked the other way more often, I'd really be able to spread my wings. No, it's stealing from a sister. That's low. Birds fly low before a storm. I'm just surviving as best I can. Woljiff fixes you with a look. Imagine the situation, Chief. You're 7 years old, you come home, and your own grandma, your family, is lying there drunk and there's no food because she got wasted in the morning and didn't cook anything. And you know what? And you know that she has a stash under the 3rd floorboard. You take this money so as you don't starve to death, and then when she wakes up, she beats you because you shouldn't have taken it. You should have stolen some food. You're a waste of space. That's something you could never understand, Chief. You only care about moral choices. You'll always know what's right and what's wrong. Brother, sister, grandma, mother. In real life, they're just words. Okay, so I get the feeling that comparison was close to home, and was a lot like how your life was. And I'm sorry your life was like that. That doesn't make stealing from someone you consider family better. Your grandma was just a piece of shit. Correction. Your family seems to be pieces of shit. What do you think of Canabras? It used to be such a hole, then the Crusaders and refugees came here and things started looking up. Although it depends on who you ask, I suppose, which is better steer clear of here, because Imaday's followers are ferocious. Especially Halran Shepuk, the local inquisitor. He's a tough old goat. I didn't see it myself, but a serving girl at the tavern told me that her second cousin's son from his third wife is a paladin. And he said that Halran takes an unsheathed sword with him, even to the privy. And when he sleeps, he puts it on the pillow next to him, and when he's in his cups, he strokes the blade, whispers sweetly to it, "You are my one true friend. You are the only one I can rely on." Irabeth's given us a hard time, too. You as much as look at some nice little bauble, and before you can think of taking it before your fingers even twitch, she's coming for you, with her nostrils flaring and her fangs glinting. Scary woman. But even she's better than Sister Charisme, our boss here in Canabras. By our, I mean the Thieflings boss. If you get caught by Irabeth, it's all out in the open, you go to prison, or you end up as worm food. But if you step on Charisme's toes, poof, you're gone, just like that. No one ever sees you again, all you hear is, "He went to the family farm," even though he's never had a family, or a farm. Huh. You have demon blood in you. Do you feel drawn to the abyss? Woljiff's tail whips back and forth, nervously raising clouds of dust. That's so cute. Why? Are you an inquisitor or something? What's it to you? If I've wronged you somehow, just come out and say it. Don't ask me trick questions. I know how it happens. I used to know a fella. He was married to the sister of a guard. Some shady types got him drunk one night and started asking him suspicious questions about the gods, about the queen. So he wakes up hungover with a headache, someone mumbling something. It smells like smoke and his feet are kind of hot. He looks down and there's a fire under him and the prelate's reading out his sentence. Your shadows look strange. What kind of magic is that? Ladies and gentlemen, roll up, roll up. No dark magic, no fraud, a trick without any deception. Oh my god, everyone ran out! Woljiff snaps his fingers and blue flame engulfs him. The shadows that was previously lying calm at his feet grows, floating in the air behind him. It is the shadow of a huge horned winged demon with claws. Ta-da! It doesn't do anything, it just looks super scary. I remember when I was little, an old beggar showed me and my friends how to make shadow puppets. You put your fingers together in front of a light, and it makes the shadow of a deer or a dog or a dove on the wall. I tried so hard, I wanted to make the best shadows, and I did. It just happened. Funnily enough, that's the last time I had any real friends. They tried to stone me later, screaming at me, calling me a demon. That's sad. A tiefling is always a demon to these wimps. Even the lowest ranking drunken gnome thinks he's better than me, just because he hasn't got horns or a tail. The poorest beggar in the filthiest gutter thinks he's better than me. Most people would never show their shadow again after that time, but I don't care. If stones start flying again, I'll just run. I'm used to it by now. I'm not gonna turn this down. It's just an innate ability he possesses. There's no reason to shun him for it, and if other people are scared, that's their own problem. Looks formidable, I like it. I'm going to be encouraging. Woljiff chuckles pleased. What about the blue fire? That's my favorite part, and it doesn't burn at all. If I had a coin for every time I've caught a beating for my little show here, I'd already be proposing to Galfrey. But still, I don't want to give up something so beautiful. Yeah. I would not make him hide a part of himself. That's just stupid. Enough, I want to ask about something else. I have to go. Let's talk later. Woljiff shrugs. Whatever, you're free to do as you please. Let me just make sure he's all caught up on levels. Yeah. Oh, his character looks so cool! Look at that! Look at his little tail! Ah, I love the character design. They did so good with this. Oh, you're super smart. Super dexterous. Okay. Cool, so you're an Eldritch Scoundrel. Let's see your spellbook. Okay. that. That grease is good. Color spray is okay. Burning hands. Okay, let's see. Can you learn any of my... Actually, let me see if I can real quick. I think I did this before and I couldn't. No. Okay, so yeah, let's have him. What is that? Protection from law? Yeah, I think Woljiff would have this. Nope. Yep. Reduce person. That's a good one for him to have too. What's this one? Scroll of Cause Fear. Scroll Shield. Yeah, Shield's another good one for him to have. Does he actually have... Yeah, he does. Chaotic Neutral! I called it! I figured he was. Rogues. Yeah. That looks fine. I'll probably replace color spray with something else after we use it. Okay, I think... Oh yeah, I wanted to ask Gemmel. I see you're not one for talking. Gemmel gives you a long, mournful look and says nothing. Okay, I'll leave. Sees you off with the subtle twitch of his pale eyebrows. Actually, no, I want to sell shit. I'm sorry. That. Yeah. Keeping the honey and the cheese. I feel like I need it. But... Ooh, what's that? Ooh. Bag of holding! Oh, I want a bag of holding. Oh, man. Wish I knew you had a bag of holding. I can sell the Claw of Jiska. I don't want to, though. That's a pretty great weapon. Speaking of, what does... We'll just need some health potions. You use... That should be fine as long as I replace the dagger. Short sword. So I think... And it has finesse wielding, yeah. So that should be fine. Yeah, that looks so good on him. Okay. Okay. I wish I had enough to buy that bag of holding, but I don't. Ow. Ow. That was weird. So we're gonna save, because we're gonna leave. Alright, now we go. Oh, hello, what's this? This place has been sanctified. It can protect the area around it from the corruption of the abyss. Nice, nice, nice. And there's no one for us to talk to out here. No. Okay. Looking for an out.
I'm gone.
Yes. I think we're good. I know that was a lot of dialogue, guys, and I'm sorry. I'm really into story and world building and stuff. That was about 2 hours of dialogue, so I apologize. Should we go across first and then... Nah, I kind of want to go to the hideout first. It takes 2 hours, not that far. Okay. Good thing I saved.
Do not fear! Do not waver!
Oh! That's a spider.
Into the fray!
Oh! Hello? Man, what do I do? I'm just gonna hold still. There's a giant spider next to me.
Cover me, all right?
Thank you. Oh, don't leave me alone.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
That lightning.
I'll cut you wide open.
Critical hit 3. Wow.
The light! Thank you!
Okay, are we good now?
Don't hold back.
Cool. Let's leave. Let's leave. Let's leave. Let's leave. Let's leave. That was a lot of weather. That was a lot of bad weather. Let's go. The hell? It's a lot of fighting.
Yet another obstacle.
Why? Leave me alone.
The spirits demand your blood.
It's a lot of spiders. Hi, what do I do? I'm a squishy. Oh, no, that was Woljiff. It looked like I was highlighted. I was not.
You won't survive me.
Thanks. Thanks, Lane. Thanks.
The inheritor. Guide my
Oh my gosh, the
blade.
fly just went over the cliff!
No glory without risk.
Hi. Hi.
Strike.
Ow. And shooting. I really need to get precise shot. That -4 penalty is killing me.
You are today's sacrifice.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
Nice.
Endure this.
Okay, let's go, because lightning. I don't know if it can actually hurt my characters or if it's just ambiance, but I'm not going to take the risk. Excuse me. Oh. Yes. A lot of tieflings. Hi. Can I zoom in? The basement is dark and dank, and you are immediately struck by the hostility of the gathered tieflings. 5 of them are kneeling along the wall, separate from the rest. The tall woman who had been cleaning her fingernails with the tip of her knife greets you with narrowed eyes. Brother Woljiff, you got my message then? Sorry I couldn't swing by sooner, dear sister Charisme. It was just one thing after another. First I was in shackles, next... Well, no, I was still in shackles, and I was being watched, and then the chief got me out, and I came here straight away. I knew you'd been waiting on me. Enough talk, or else we'll be here all night. So, we had a clear plan. We were going to wait for nightfall, slip into the shop, grab the goods, and leave. Now, if the neighbors called the guards, there was time to get away, but what happened? That bitch Erebeth showed up almost right away. She knew we'd be there. Somebody betrayed us, and I have a good idea who it was. What do you have to say to that? Make it quick. Nobris is burning. Why are we squabbling here instead of fleeing the city? Irisme turns to you. She speaks. I thought Woljiff only brought you so he'd have someone to hide behind if things went south. Irisme purses her lips. I'd be glad to leave, like the rest of my brothers and sisters, but in the family, there's nothing worse than betrayal, and it's something we do not forgive. We don't forgive anyone who lets traitors off the hook either. If I don't find the rat, my superiors, let's just say, I'll wish I was burning in Canabras. I want to keep living, so I'm going to take a chance. Until I find out who is the traitor here, no one is leaving. Do you think Woljiff knows the name of the traitor? Yes, he knows the name of the traitor. Every gang that Brother Woljiff has been a part of has very quickly come to an end. Their hideout location was passed to the guards, or their competitors found out where they could ambush them. Woljiff is the only one who always comes out smelling of roses. If you think about it, you'll come to the same conclusion as us. I'd have said that meant that Woljiff was cursed with finding friends among losers and screw-ups, but now that he's with us, that must mean the curse has been broken. That depends. He was indeed most fortunate to find himself in a party with me. On the other hand, he has also ended up in a party with you. Melia, you're kind of a bitch. Woljiff, tell us your side of the story. What happened? What's there to tell? About a week ago, Sister Crusade got 6 of us together in this very basement. Me and those 5 over there, I mean. Woljiff jerks his head towards the 5 Thieflings kneeling by the wall. She rounds us up and she says we've got a score. Ancestries and Wonders. The one place nobody's ever been able to hit. The place that's guarded by a golem. But now a powerful scroll that would knock out the golem just happened to come into our possession, along with a tip-off that the shop owner would be gone on a particular night. All 6 of us know a bit of magic, and we know that any enchanted junk will sell for a pretty penny, so we're in. And the most important thing was that none of us was to be hanging about the shop ahead of the job. No casing out the place, no calling attention to ourselves from either the golem or its master. This job was top secret. That's all true so far. Go on. We did everything right with the locks and the golem. I picked the lock, I remember clear as day. Sister Dalna was on lookout. Brother Melround had the scroll. Dopey, Tavi, and Barner brought the sacks. We covered the windows and lit the torches. I remember scooping up rings, tossing them in the sack, and one right expensive one rolled away from me. I crawled under the table after it, and the next thing I know, Erebeth was there, everybody scampered, and I was still under the table. Not my finest moment. I was going to wait it out, but then those blockheads were dragging me out by my tail and put me in shackles. They took all my rings off me, and about 20,000 worth, and to add insult to injury, I never even found the last one. In the end, I got busted over nothing. So they caught you, poor thing, stripped you of your loot, and you didn't even manage to stash anything? Grisme is pointedly polishing her knife. Where's the Moon of the Abyss, Brother Woljiff? What is the Moon of the Abyss? It was an amulet. It used to sit on a little cushion in the window of Ancestries and Wonders. Sterling silver, sparkled like a star. Fine piece of work. On one side there was a half moon, you know, a crescent, a waning moon. And in the middle there was a dark crystal, like it was eclipsing the moon. Old man Failman was so proud of that amulet, he used to say, "I'll never sell it, it's the jewel of my collection." Woljiff sighs unhappily. I used to go there to see what kinds of treasures there were in the world. There's nothing else to look at in Canabras. People used to claim it was a powerful thing, but who's to say? If you ever stole a thing like that, you'd have the guards on you the second you tried to fence it. everybody knew that you were always hanging around Ancestries and Wonders, drooling over the moon of the abyss. Did you think you could swipe it in all the commotion and keep it for yourself? Did you hope that we'd all be locked up and you get off scot-free, and with a fancy trinket to boot? Don't take me for a mug, Woljiff. I see right through you. Why would Irabeth arrest her own informant? Took the words right out of my mouth. Doesn't make any sense. If I was the rat, I'd have kissed her on the hand and been long gone by now. You know me, sister. I'm a cautious fella, not an idiot. Why would I go against the family? So the fish in the Sullen can have a nice Woljiff-sized dinner? The Moon of the Abyss is a pretty bauble, to be sure, but it's just an amulet. It ain't worth dying over. You knew Irabeth's people would protect you. You knew you could pin the moon going missing on them, and you knew you've come here with backup. And now you've come here with backup. You knew exactly what I was going to say to you. Only problem is nobody's returned the amulet to Fielman. Are you giving Irabeth a cut? Is that it? Have you seen her? Do you think she'd take a cut of anything I offered her? She can't be bought. She's like 3 heralds of Imode and all rolled into one. He speaks the truth. You'll find some knights who'll take bribes. I'm sorry to say, but Irabeth Tirabade is not one of them. I would be sorry to say that. I'd be like, Tirabeth would never accept a bribe. She is too amazing. That's the whole sorry story. Woljiff crosses his arm, looking affronted. Some family this turned out to be. It's just a name in the end. In a real family, people take each other at their word. They don't throw around accusations. I didn't take the Moon of the Abyss. What am I gonna do with it? You can't sell it to no Crusaders. It's a special item. You can't wear it. It'll get nicked. It's pretty to look at, sure, but it ain't that pretty. If it's that important to you, Sister Charisme, I'll find it. And I'll drag the traitor here by his horns, just so you don't end up right at the bottom of the Sullen. But you'd know what you're gonna owe me for that. Oh, sorry. But you know what you're gonna owe me for that? An apology. Right here, in front of everyone, you're going to apologize loud and clear so everybody hears it. You'll say, sorry, Woljiff, you're a good guy, and I was wrong about you. Fine. You're one of my people, which is why I'm going to give you some time. But if you run, Brother Woljiff, the family will get you wherever you go. You'll spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder, tossing and turning at night, fearing poison in every cup and every meal. You'll look into the eyes of every tiefling you meet, wondering if the family's come for you. You'll have no peace, but one day you'll be tired of running. You'll stop to catch your breath. And that is when we'll get you. Got it? You've got a way with words, Sister Charisme. A way that almost made me wet myself, but a way nonetheless. Let's go, Chief. We'll go chat to the scary gal Irabeth. She knows you a little. We can ask her who ratted us out. I'll let you do the talking. We'll find the real traitor. And I'll get my apology. Onward to Irabeth, Chief. Let's go clear my good name. Root out the traitor, be quick about it. Time's running out. I don't want to get chewed up by demons. Okay. Cool. I knew it wasn't going to be a 30-minute ordeal. Couldn't have been that easy. It's never that easy. Deduce the traitor's identity. Okay. I guess we'll go back here. Big stretch. Why is it raining? Why is it always raining? I know the situation is dire, but why does it always have to rain? Irabeth! Hey. There's a traitor I'm trying to track down. Who is your informant among the Thieflings? Irabeth arches her brow in surprise. Ganabras is threatened by a demon horde and you have enough spare time to help out thieves. Irabeth sighs. I don't like this, but I hope you know what you're doing. I'll tell you everything I know. I did not see my informant's face. He slipped out of a dark alley, handed me the note, and disappeared. Irabeth hesitates as she tries to remember. He had a dark cloak with a hood masking his face, but the long horns, didn't fit underneath it. There should be a guardian golem in Ancestries and Wonders, the shop they tried to rob. The owner gave us the construction's code word just in case. The golem itself was destroyed. But the head seems to be intact, so you can interrogate the thing and find out what it saw. The code word is Hand of Irori. Irori is a god, I believe. God of enlightenment, self-perfection, knowledge, healing, and inner strength. The shop's owner must have escaped, but there is a chance you'll get lucky with the golem. Okay, I have to go. Thanks, Irabeth. Bye, Irabeth. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. Shit. Ah, that was stupid of me. Do I have... Eight hours, 39 minutes. Yeah, I think load. Yes. Yes. I wasn't thinking. I just saw an exclamation point and I went for it. Where am I? Okay. Oh no, I did. Well, I wasted a lot of time. I hate when I misclick. Load. Yeah, let's go back to the Defender's Heart. Here we go. Yeah. This is fine. Because we have limited time, I don't want to just waste 2 hours. So we're going there. Try to find an easy way across to save some time. Oh, can I not go that way? Okay. I mean, alright, we'll just go that way, I guess. I don't know what parts are accessible where. 2 hours? It should be okay. Sure. Obviously difficult terrain, but it should be fine. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Save. Let's do this.
Quiet steps. Weapons ready.
I'm gone.
Love looting. Oh. Someone's stuck under there? Hello? Hi? Finian the talking weapon. Phew, free at last. I thought I'd be flattened like a pancake under that rubble. Much obliged. Damn, I'm not in any pain, but my head is still foggy for some reason. What's with all the hubbub in the city? The name's Finian. I'm a Pathfinder. If there's anything I can do to help, I will. You're a Pathfinder? That's right. Finian Dismar, Pathfinder and Crusader. I roam around the whirlwind wherever my tasks lead me. Scouting, mostly, but this last while I've been hanging around in Canabras, waiting until I'm needed again. I'm bored out of my mind, but at least this shop makes for better lodging than some inn. What what I meant was, what are you? What's that supposed to mean? I just told you. I want to know where I hail from. You want to know where I hail from, is that it? Well, I'm from around here, actually. We Kelids are the Star-Eye clan, fled when the World Wound troubles began. But I couldn't stand by while the demons wreaked havoc, so I came back. Okay, you're a Kelid. Or did you mean to ask about my weapon of choice? My best weapon is every weapon. I'm a skill-capable fellow, if I do say so myself. I can swing a sword and poke with a spear, but what I'm best at is communing with the spirits. They call folks like me Phantom Blades. Okay, a Phantom Blade, what's that? It's like a spiritualist, but with a twist. It means that some spirit took a liking to me at some point, and it can turn into whatever weapon I need. Handy, eh? I don't need any whetstones or enhancements. Doesn't take up space either. Although, to be fair, I'm not a barrel of laughs. It's not a barrel of laughs. The spirit that bestowed this kind of power don't come from happy places, and they're not exactly bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They usually appear after great battles that leave few survivors. Oh, that's unfortunate. The city is under attack by the demons. Are you aware you're a weapon? Wait, what? The last thing I saw was some thieves breaking in here. Then the guards came, everyone was running around. After that, it's a bit of a blur. Right when things got intense, they dropped the cabinet on me. I couldn't even help the owner. I was just lying under the shelf like a dimwit until you came along. If there are demons in Canabras, we must do something about it. The city needs every blade it can get. Hey, do you mind taking me with you? I don't think I can handle this alone, and besides, the more the merrier. How did you end up in this shop? Yeah. I've been here so long I don't even remember anymore. Just sitting and waiting for any word from the Pathfinders. But it looks like everyone has forgotten about me. The shop owner is an old friend of the Pathfinders, so I've taken up residence here. Alright, I'll take you with me. I swear you won't regret it. I can do all sorts of things. Is there anything your party is missing? A sword, a spear, a bow? Just say the word. You now have a unique companion. Okay. Alright. Hi, Finian. Out of the adventures. You know what? I've never regretted following you. Everyone seems to revolve around you, like beavers in a mill wheel. I'll have a lot to write about in my reports to the Pathfinder Society. Although thinking about it, it's been a while since I last sent that many reports. 'Cause you're a weapon. I want to talk about you, yeah. Sure, go ahead, although I haven't really done anything noteworthy yet. Do you realize that you're a weapon? Yes, thank you, the important question. What kind of question is that? I mean, sure, the clerics keep going on about every crusader being a weapon of Immode, but I don't speak of myself in fancy words like that. I'm just a lad with 2 arms, 2 legs, and more freckles than I'd like. Oh no, he sounds cute. I choose where to go and whom to fight for. I don't want to be someone's weapon, you hear? Aridin is dead, now everybody decides their own fate. That's not a yes or no question. How did you become a Pathfinder? I've always wanted to be one, ever since I was a kid. I remember I'd go out to the edge of the village at sunset and then just... Hi, Silver, how you doing? I go out to the edge of the village at sunset and then just keep walking until I got tired or someone dragged me back by my ear. It was like something was drawing me away from home. My clan wasn't the nomadic kind. Before the wound opened, the idea of traveling anywhere would never have crossed the minds of many in the clan. They were content with the community or their patch of land, but I had always wanted to see what lay beyond the Bend Road over the familiar hill beyond the horizon. Oh, that should be fun. I'm just streaming until the fiancé comes back from work. Which will probably be about another hour. My father, he wanted me to teach He wanted to teach me to be a shaman like him, but as soon as I came of age, I was off looking for the Pathfinder Society. And I found it, and is. After 3 weeks of travel on foot, I passed their trials and they accepted me. My father hasn't spoken to me since, but that's alright. Once he hears of my great deeds, he'll come around. Someday. Oh? Do you do actual voices for your people? I'm trying. I have a hard time with it. I have to keep drinking liquids because my throat keeps hurting. Oh yeah, Silver, look at this. So, I can't really. So my straw is green, like my green screen. So it's see-through. It's so cool. I know. It's so neat. Yeah, I find after 4 hours of straight talking, my voice gets a little strained. All I wanted to do was rush off to some faraway land and find a treasure trove no one else had discovered yet, but I knew I had a duty to Sarkoris. Then the wound opened, the demons, the havoc. In the end, I never went anywhere. Yeah. But as soon as things calm down, I'm setting off to explore Aslant. Lost continent in the Arcadian Ocean. I've already decided. Great ancient ruins, that's my kind of life. Being surrounded by the wreckage here is depressing, as I'm sure you know. Do you remember anything from before you ended up in Canabras? There is uncertainty in Finian's voice. I mean, a lot of things happened. I remember how happy everyone was when the Wardstone was placed in Canabras. That was some celebration. That was a while ago. That was centuries ago. Finian is silent for a few moments, and I remember when the cultists took me, cut down my whole party, and dragged me to their ringleader. I don't know his name. Everyone just called him the Bladesmith. But after that, my memory's all fuzzy. For some reason, he didn't sacrifice me or anything. Just knocked me around. Said he'd been looking for a phantom blade for a long time. I don't remember why. He made you into an enchanted weapon. How I escaped, what I did, can't remember that either. Some crusader picked me up in the World Wound, brought me to Canabras, and that's where I stayed, licking my wounds. Maybe there was a mix-up, and now they think I'm dead. Why else would none of them contact me this whole time? You are a weapon. Can we not just tell him that he is an enchanted weapon? Instead of just asking him if he knows he's one? Also, how does he not notice? The Wardstone, you say? What you're describing happened decades ago. That's rich. Next you're going to tell me I've been sleeping for decades. Last year, that was. Well, maybe the year before last. I couldn't have been wandering the wound that long. I would have been either dead or an old geezer by now. Nah, quit messing with me. Bro! Finian, you need to understand you're not human anymore. Finian's voice sounds concerned. Hey, are you feeling alright? Maybe you need to have a lie down. I'm standing right in front of you. Poke me if you like. As human as they come. Or do you think my travels have worn me down so much I've become an animal? Not happening. My folks taught me to stay human always, no matter the circumstances. To remember who I am, and never to shame my ancestors. Okay, well that makes sense. From his point of view, he sees a physical body. He thinks he still has one. Oh, this is gonna be annoying. Okay. Are you still able to commune with spirits? Maybe I can, only they don't want to answer me. I'm still a spiritualist, a phantom blade, my power is within me, but I have this feeling like I'm separated from the spirit world by some kind of transparent wall. I keep knocking, but no one can hear me. I think Finian forces a chuckle. Guess all the bladesmith's torture did a number on me. He broke something inside me. He made you a weapon! Made you a weapon. Well, don't say that. That's just cruel. Tell me about the Pathfinder Society. Sure. Oh, well, sometimes folks curse our names, calling us opportunists who just want to line our pockets, but that's only part of it. We're travelers, explorers, solvers of mysteries, and fighters of evil. I mean, good coin hasn't hurt anybody yet, but for folks like me, it's not what matters most. We're curious to see the world, play a part in everything, stick our noses everywhere. Right? Yes. Yes. I usually like sentient weapons. I'm actually annoyed when sentient weapons refuse to see that they're weapons. Like when you have a group of people saying, no dude, you're a bow or a sword, and you're like, nah, dog. Yes, you are in denial. Getting into our circle isn't easy. First, you must prove that you can endure any place you're sent to, that you won't shy away or flee. That's why you'll never catch a long line of applicants outside any society lodge. Every lodge has a venture captain, and if they approve your application, you're in. And there are many lodges all over the world, but the main one, the Grand Lodge, is located far away in Absalom. I've never been there myself, but I've heard a lot of stories about it, and about the Decemvirate that governs all Pathfinder affairs from there. Okay, that's all. I should get going. I'm not going to be mean to you. If you feel like chatting, I'm always here. Yeah, you know why? Because I hold you constantly. I can even have you change your form. No. I want you to be... Composite longbow. What are even your things? What are your stats? Cold iron. Okay, that's good. Fighting demons. Ghost touch. That's even better. Enhancement +1. Composite. That's pretty good. That's awesome. I love that. I'm 6'3" human bard. You're just weirdly tall. Yeah. But you're right, Tuscan should watch this so he knows the horrors he will be inflicting upon a soul when he does this to them. Loot. Ooh. That's awesome. Can I learn that? No. Can we'll just learn that? No. Some scrolls have been torn apart and some have been trodden by muddy boots.
Might be trap, might be treasure.
Demonic heart. Jeez. Ooh, there's stuff over there. Always have to loot. Always have to loot. Counterfeit dark sun hammer jewelry. I'm concerned why this place had counterfeits. Oh, I love pipe foxes. Yes. Give me. Oh, no, but the owl. It's fine. I will give the owl to someone. want the fox. You can have the owl.
I'm always ready.
Can I just... Does this expire? I don't know. I'm gonna save in case it does. Summon it. Oh, it's so cute.
Are we in trouble yet?
Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. I'll die. It's so cute.
We do it my way.
This is where it lay, the moon of the abyss. It's worth it. It's the cutest thing. The whole journey was worth this. So cute. Okay, I think I looted everything over there.
They will not expect my strike.
Why are you lingering over there? Come over here with us. The formerly appointed shop now looks a sorry state. It has been completely ransacked. Lying in the corner next to a scorched wall are the soot-covered shards of a clay golem's head. The golem's eyes glow in the gloom. Master, code word. Hand of Irory. Code word, correct. The golem's eyes glow brighter. Awaiting orders. Where did you come from? Who created you? Actually, no, I don't want to break him before I get what I need. Tell me about any suspicious people who came into the shop last week. The golem was silent for a moment. 56 individuals entered the shop. Human female, old. No male, old. Human female. He'll be reeling off customers till nightfall. We need to ask it in a different way. Were any of the suspicious people tieflings? The golem is silent for a while. Tieflings, 3. Tiefling male, middle-aged. Tiefling male, young. Tiefling female, young. Okay. Describe the young male tiefling. Tiefling male, medium height, short horns curling backwards, medium length tail, yellow color, eye color, yellow, hair color, black. Special observations, annoyed master. Well, this sounds like someone I know. Horns, hair, tail, that sounds like me. But it's not possible. I know what the security is like here. I didn't come near this place. I give you my word, Chief. No special observations. Subject was unremarkable. There, see? Can't have been me. I'm completely remarkable. So funny. Describe the middle-aged male tiefling. Tiefling male, medium height. Hold on, wait, I need to write this. Male, medium height. Long horns. That matches up. Medium length tail. Eye color pale blue. Skin color dark. Well, that doesn't really tell me anything. Or it could be anything. Special observations. Red hair. Okay. Oh, that's our trader. I bet your life on it. My life. Not your life, my life. Charisma drilled it into our heads that we wasn't to go hanging about the shop. Red hair. We've got a couple of gingers and plenty more who get it out of a bottle. So much for the special observation. Golems ain't all they're cracked up to be, eh? Maybe its master knows more. Describe the female tiefling. Tiefling female, above average height. Hair, long, pale. Tail, not observed. Long horns. Eye color, blue. Special observations, scar on nose, baldric with gold stitching. I don't know that one. A new arrival, most likely. Gold stitching, eh? Wouldn't mind getting to know her a little better. So you could rob her blind? Where is your master? Philemon Fruliatros. My master is in his hiding place. Revealing the location of hiding place is prohibited. Prohibited. He likely holed himself up in the basement when the commotion started. The entrance should be around here somewhere. Where is the basement in this place? The basement is below me. I guard the basement. Leaving my post is prohibited. Where did you come from? Who created you? This golem was created by Gaffreen and Son. Address 3rd building on the right, Jewelers Alley, Nerosian, Mendev. Model G504 ENE, which stands for Experimental and Enhanced. For all inquiries, contact Mr. Gaffreen. I've found everything I want to know, thanks. What's the athletics check?
The mongrel did it.
Oh! There's the basement. He literally meant I guard the basement. We're not all hiding.
Watch and learn.
Well, it doesn't look like there's anyone in here. Fine. Unique weapons and antique armor were previously displayed on these stands. It's unlikely their new owners even know their true value. Oh, look at it! It's so cute. I'm gonna freak out about that every time I see it. The polished oak shelves once showed magic rings and amulets. Now all that's left are the grubby handprints of the robbers.
I'm all ears.
Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, isn't it cute? Come here, you little bastard. Let me look at you. Oh my gosh. I love the little familiars they added.
Can't hide from me.
Oh, it's just a gold ring. The polished oak shelves once showcased magic rings and amulets. Now all that's left are the grubby handprints of robbers. Yeah. It's unfortunate. I think I got everything. Yeah. Let's save and go down. So cute.
Watch and learn.
Heck yeah. If there's anything I've learned, you need to keep one type of every alcohol on your person in this game. Or in any Pathfinder game, really. Alcohol is always useful.
I am helpful, am I not?
Yes, you are very helpful. Even if you are crazy. The elderly gnome, so portly as to be nearly spherical, is curled up in the corner of the basement shaking. Marauders! Bandits! Scavengers! Yeah, makes sense. We're all of those things and much, much more. Before you report us to the authorities, mind if we have a chat? Please calm down, no one's going to rob you. The gnome peers at you. You do look better dressed than the local thieves and ragamuffins. You came here to tell me that the nightmare is over? No, it's not. You're here to steal my riches. Get back. The gnome notices Woljiff and his rounded face turns scarlet. You! Woljiff, the dirty little sneak thief. You've been sniffing around my shop for years. Finally worked up the courage to rob me, did you? Get out of here. You and your pals have taken everything already, I'm sure. The gnome seems to settle slightly. My name's Philemon Friliatros. I was the owner of the shop, and I'm not sure I can claim the right to be the owner of anything right now. I hope there's at least something left of it. Oh, come off it. Your shop's fine. It's a bit ransacked, maybe, but nothing a bit of spit and polish can't fix. Where were you the night of the robbery? Do you think I robbed my own shop? I was here, in the basement. I was told to make it look like I'd left. The watch was very keen to get their hands on those Thieflings. They seemed to be multiplying all over Galarian. So of course I did everything they said, and I've been stuck in the basement since then. The golem wouldn't move away from the door no matter how much I yelled at it. But then I thought that it was all to the good. Somebody came by after the guards and caused a ruckus upstairs, bellowing like mad, taking advantage of my absence. Huh. Tell me about the tieflings that have visited Ancestries and Wonders recently. Why would I tell you anything about my customers? You're not from the City Guard or the Eagle Watch. Chief, if he keeps digging his heels in, just say the word. I know how to loosen his tongue. Okay. Let's just calm. We don't need to hurt anyone. Yet. I'm helping the Eagle Watch to catch the culprits. It's in your interest to tell me everything. Is that so? How do I know you're telling the truth? And since when is the Eagle Watch in the habit of sending strangers to do their work for them? Okay. Of course that worked. Just imagine that Aurora just got so fed up with him, just was like, tell me or I'm gonna stab you. Philemon recoils. Alright, just put the thing away. I'll tell you everything. Ask your questions if it's so important. What about Woljiff? Philemon's face wrinkles in distaste. Woljiff Jeffdo, right? Yes, I've known him for a long time, though I'd rather not know him at all. He's been skulking around my shop for years, treating the place like a free museum. He's always wanted to look at the Moon of the Abyss. I chased him out, but he just slank back in again. If he was with the gang that robbed my shop, I'd bet anything he swiped the moon. How come I'm the prime suspect? Whoever betrayed us all, that's the one who's got the moon. I want to see it return too, you get me? I don't like the idea of other people's grubby mitts on it. Tell me about the red-haired tiefling. Philemon falls to thinking. A red-haired tiefling. I suppose, yes, there was one who came in, spent a long time looking around. He was a person of modest means. I could tell by his clothes, but he asked me to show him an ASMR-made chainmail. He certainly couldn't afford it. But that's when I suspected that something was off. I checked everything after he left, but nothing was missing, and that put my mind at ease. I can't remember what he looked like. I didn't get a good look at his face. All I remember is that he was wrapped in a green cloak like he was freezing. That's all I have. Green cloak. Well, people can change their cloaks, though. I don't know how important that detail is. That's it. With that description, we'll surely sniff him out. Come on, Chief. Back to Sister Charisme we go. To have a good, long, shifty at all my brothers and put all these clues together. Something tells me our traitor isn't going to wriggle out of this one. I wonder about the tiefling woman. Philemon scratches his chin. A tiefling woman. Yes, I remember now. A noble lady, unlike the tiefling ruffians we have around here. She purchased magical equipment for the Crusade, and she promised to come again. If only all tieflings were like that. I'd be laughing all the way to the bank. Found everything I want to know. That isn't enough to help you catch the thieves, and I don't know what else to tell you. Now be on your way, leave me in peace with my wrecked shop. Okay. Making sure there's nothing else to take. Surprised he's not like, is that my pipe fox? No. No, it's not. I found this. And We just leave?
Follow if you dare.
Save and go to the hideout. It's probably a quick trip. Yeah, less than an hour. Let's do it. Oh, come on. We are real bad at sneaking.
This will be quick.
Calm down. Just one? Just... okay. Okay.
I'll cut you wide open.
Well, see you, finish her
No
off.
glory without risk.
Cover me, all right?
Is that it? I would like that, that, and that. Thank you. Okay. What's the closest way out of here? Ah. Leave? Bring that out. Travel. Enter. Okay. Male, medium height, long horns, medium tail. Pale blue eyes, skin dark, red hair, green cloak. Okay, I'm just gonna save here. Alright. Hi, everybody.
I'm off.
I'll steal everything later. Grizz made drums her fingers nervously on the handle of her blade. Well, are you going to tell me who the traitor is? The name and the moon of the abyss that they stole. I don't need anything else. The tieflings are tense and ready to reach for their weapons. The only redheads are Melrune and Doffy. Okay. The dark-skinned tieflings are Varner, Doffy, and Melrune. Okay, so just Melrune and Doffy still. Doffy, Melrune, and Tavi have straight horns. Tavi is female, so we're still at Doffy and Melrune. Only Varner and Melrune have green cloaks. So that just leaves Melrune, if the cloak thing is to be handy. Oh, I'm not allowed to say Woljiff. It's so funny. It's Melrune, if all the things are to be added up. You'll pay for this, but we'll get you in the end. Grab him, take him away for questioning. Heh, 30 minutes. He said it would take 30 minutes. Grismay looks wary, but her earlier tension has clearly lifted. He confessed. Someone connected to the cult of Baphomet ordered him to steal the Moon of the Abyss, and the best idea he could come up with was to drag us into it. He got the scroll to take out the golem. He betrayed us to Erebus so that he could swipe the amulet in the chaos. He thought we'd nicked it and he'd slink off. He thought we'd get nicked and he'd slink off to meet up with his customer. You've got the Moon of the Abyss? Let me look at it one more time. My whole life I've dreamt of holding it in my hands, if only for a second. He said when he got to the window display the moon was gone. He's lying, of course. He had time to get the moon off to the person who ordered it. Like cultists. I don't really give a toss. I'm just glad we got to the bottom of this. What are you gonna do now? Clear out of this place, the sooner the better. The city's dying. I don't want to die with it. The city would have already died if not for the people who stood up to defend it with their weapons in their hands. So defend it. I'm not stopping you. It's your city. But we've always been outsiders here. Why would we fight for you now? Can I join the family? Do I want to join the family? I'm curious to see what she would say. She was like, yeah, you can. I'd be like, I think you have to be a tiefling, though. Maybe if you were a tiefling, it'd be a legit offer. Ugh. What are you gonna do with the traitor? Charisma nonchalantly picks at her nails with her knife tip. He'll be sent to visit his distant relatives on the farm, to think about what he did. Any more questions? Can I join the family? Charisma bursts out laughing. That's all you want? You can have your pick of the non-tiefling gangs. You've no need to tread on our territory. The family is for tieflings only, no exception. Well, that makes me want to play a tiefling and come back through this. Maybe you could. I have to go. Good decision. I don't plan to hang around long either. Charisma turns to leave. Sister! Woljiff nervously bites his lip. His cheeks are flushed and his tail swishing through the air. You forgot something. What now? You should be happy to be alive. An apology. You promised to apologize to me, loudly, in front of everyone. We're alone now, but I still want to hear it. Well? Ah, that. Charisma shrugs indifferently. So, sorry, I suppose, for being wrong about you this time. Don't think that just because you didn't act like a jerk this one time that it cancels out the rest of your record. I know all about you. Till next time, Woljiff. That's the most pathetic apology I've ever heard. Charisma's eyes harden, but then she sighs. Alright, fine. I'm sorry, Woljiff. Let's part on good terms. Nah, I'm not gonna push my luck. Woljiff watches her go, his tail relaxing. Better than nothing. Listen, Chief, when you've got a spare minute, come see me. I have something I want to discuss with you. But for now, let's get out of here. I don't like sitting below ground when the building above is already ready to crash down on our heads. Okay. Fair, fair. Fair is fair. Oh, she didn't give me a... Well, we're gonna try and unlock it, I guess. I was hoping I would be like my reward or something. Of course there's liquor. They have a ton of liquor. Ooh, Lockers Kit 1. This lockpick kit grants a +1 all trickery checks. Nice! Does it have to be on his person? Is it like a kit? You have to wear it? Yes. No, I don't want to get rid of that. Get rid of my magic missile.
Something wrong?
Oh, nothing's wrong. I don't know why I said it like that.
I do what I must.
Do you think Charisma would forget to lock a vault with money in it? You should be so lucky. If you want to clear the cobwebs out of them pockets, you're gonna have to try a bit harder. I don't know what you mean, because the door opened. Unless that it wasn't supposed to. That's making me nervous. Like, trapped and shit?
Now what is
Yes.
that?
The answer is yes, it is.
I'm gone.
I hope you appreciate this.
I love the little Familiar noises, so cute. Looks like magical. Cast certain spells. Oh, come on. Really? Okay. So basically he was saying they didn't leave much in there, is what he was telling me. Probably was a sack of gold or something. I don't know how I would have gotten it, though.
We do it my way.
Filled the quest. And we're out. Okay. Let's go to the Defender's Heart, because we have to go all the way over to the Market Square anyway. Oh, is it nighttime? I guess we've been traveling for a bit.
Follow if you dare.
Wow, no one is in here anymore. People did not come back.
Psst, look, Chief. I got something to show you. Ta-da! A real beaut, isn't it?
Woljiff comes closer and looks around quickly to make sure no one is eavesdropping. He makes a subtle gesture and an amulet on a chain appears in his hand. Oh my god, no he didn't. A silver amulet in the shape of a waning moon with a dark crystal in the middle of the moon of the abyss. You have it?! Were you the traitor the whole time? So you did betray the Thieflings. No, I'm gonna go with you had it the whole time.
Since that night, Chief, Melround didn't even set eyes on it. While he was dealing with the golem, I sneaked past them, and that was that.
Woljiff grins pleased. I'm impressed. I'm baffled and impressed. So you did betray the Thief?
That cuts me deep, Chief. You and I saw who the traitor was. It's just that when we robbed the shop, I went in first and took what I wanted. Nothing wrong with that.
I suppose.
Although, of course, I did think about hiding the moon and just taking myself off somewhere warm when all this blows over. But only because I want to see the world. Is it a crime to want to travel? Huh? Is that what counts for treachery these days?
Woljiff is silent for a moment, then a cunning grin crosses his face. You've been searched by the guards. How did you manage to hide the amulet?
Thieves have their ways.
Woljiff grins. Why is this item so important to you?
You really not remember it? Oh, I thought you would appreciate it. It's from the old man Fileman, the owner of the Ancient Trees and Wonders shop. It's the pride of his collection. The Moon of the Abyss, an amulet with a rare crystal crafted by an unknown maker. When I think of how much this thing is worth, it makes my head spin.
No, I mean, why is it important to you? Why didn't you give it to her right away?
What? So she would slay me right away, you mean? You saw how antsy she was over Canabras and all this. So I did it. I took the Moon of the Abyss. But I didn't go to Erebeth. And Big Sister wouldn't hear my explanations. She doesn't have the time. I even thought I'd hide the moon somewhere, and then when all the noise had died down, I'd go get it and make a run for it. I'm sick of the Thieflings. And they never appreciated me anyway.
Okay. Why did you steal the Moon of the Abyss? You wouldn't have been able to sell an item so rare anyway.
Why, she asks. It's expensive, pretty. And you know, it's my amulet, actually. Not meaning I stole it, but I mean, this is my inheritance. My grandma and I were poor. All we had was a jewelry box with the moon in it. She used to store it under the floor in the basement, and she'd take it out sometimes just to look at it.
Woljiff puts his hands in his pockets and looks away. He sighs.
She was always nicer when she had a few drinks in her, so I could ask her things then. One time I asked where she got it from, and she said it was from a demon. You know, the demon who was my grandfather. He said the moon was to be passed down. My ma was good for nothing and nobody, so that's why Grandma decided to keep the amulet for me. She used to say it would be mine when I grew up. But she couldn't wait until I grew up. She squandered my inheritance when she became a drunk. Took it to Fileman's shop and pawned it. He gave her some coppers for it, and she didn't even haggle. Just grabbed them and ran back to the tavern before last orders.
Woljiff scowls. I'm sorry, Woljiff.
I've been going to Fileman's to look at the moon ever since I was a kid. He chased me away, but I just kept going back, so eventually he gave up. He didn't skimp on security. The place was like a fortress, so he wasn't worried about a street rat like me pinching anything. Even when I got more skilled, I couldn't get any closer to it. One day, I had no one to go with. Another day, there were only oafs who'd never stolen anything more than a church donation box. But when Charisme had planned everything out, I realized I had a chance to get the moon and move away from here. Maybe to Garen. I hear it's warmer there. I've stayed with the family for too long.
No, I feel this way. Well, they don't really consider him a friend, though. So I don't actually feel this way. They don't really care for him. It's very obvious in how much they immediately jump to conclusions. Not to say I wouldn't be... Not to say I also wouldn't suspect him, but I wouldn't be so forward about it. I would just ask him if he did it, find who actually did it, then go about the business. Not, yes, you did this absolutely. Because he does have a certain background. And, I don't know. I don't consider this evil. I consider this actually very neutral. But none of these are really good answers. I'm gonna go with this one, just because it's the closest to what my character would say. I'm sure he's not gonna care for it, because it's a very judging answer. Also, he didn't... No, he did. Because he deceived us.
Family, friends. You know, some people don't believe in gods, so gods don't exist for them. And I don't believe in family. All that heartwarming talk about sticking together. Ugh. People like to say those things, but when push comes to shove...
So he needs someone that's going to stick by him no matter what. If he's going to change it all, he needs proof that such people exist. Woljiff gives you a strange look and the tip of his tail twitches. If we want him to change, if we want him to develop, yeah, that's a good word. I'm not saying we're trying to change him, but to get him to understand people like that exist, we have to be that person for him, probably.
Sister Charisme used to say that us Tieflings were one family, and you see how that turned out. And did you hear that excuse for an apology? I did the right thing, and I was right to want to run when I just planned on stealing the Moon of the Abyss. Everything turned out as it should. Whatever you think, I owe you. I'm not just a thief, I have my own business selling things. Thanks to you, I'm still in the family, and we have the black market sewn up in this city. It's a good way to sell valuables. So, if you need anything, a scroll or something, just say the word. I have a little portal to our people in Nerosian. You put a note there, and you get what you need. I can't get you anything big, but what they do have is all high quality. Nothing's too good for you, Chief. What's mine is yours. For a price, of course.
I really like him. I think he's funny. I think he's complicated. And I really like that. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna save here. I don't think he's romanceable, though, which is unfortunate. Because I know the list of the romanceable characters, because I backed the Kickstarter. And he's not one of them, which is unfortunate, because he seems really complex. Unfortunate. Do you have anything else to say? Woljiff is standing, repeatedly flipping a coin into the air and catching it. He looks bored, but the tip of his tail's twitching nervously. Noticing you, he perks up. Hey, Chief. How about letting me go? Why would you need a thief in your party? What if I rob you in your sleep? I mean, I'm not going to, for now. But what if I get a rush of inspiration? Why do you always feel so scared about being tied down? Are you really staying in the party or just waiting for a chance to run off? Woljiff gives you a hurt look. As if I could. There are demons and dangers around every corner. The tiefling stopped short. Don't you worry, Chief. I'll work off my debt, honestly. I won't stab you in the back or go on the run with your money. And if you buy my wares, I won't have to leave at all. Okay, show me what you got. Woljiff's face breaks into a happy grin. Look, Chief, tieflings have the best things. Ooh, poison dart. Ooh. Wand of Grease, that's pretty cool. It's really good. Man, Monster Hunter. Man. Headstock of Purity. 1d3 positive energy. Ooh, that's so good. Fortunately, it's not the character I'm playing right now. That'd be really good for her, though. Ooh, Apprentice Lockpicks. I don't have a lot of money. Holy Water, always a good option. Star Knife's pretty good. Let me see. Do I have anything to sell? I don't think so. Pretty. That's a longbow. His masterwork dagger. Yeah, I'll give that away. He's not gonna be using it. Colossal longbow. Colossal longbow, yep. I have a sentient weapon now, I don't need it. Normal gold ring. Copper ring. Counterfeit Derek Sunhammer's jewelry. I'm gonna keep this just because that long name makes me feel like it's important. Okay. And they have a lot of good stuff, just nothing of... we probably should buy, yeah. I'll buy all those off you, just in case. Also a good thing to have. Cool. Probably would be best if everyone had at least one of those equipped. There we go. I think you know mage armor. Just have you get acid. Holy water. And where's it? Fire. Fire. And holy water, if that makes sense. Nah, you're not really gonna need that. That should be good. Hey, bye, Woljiff. Hopefully we can give him a home. That'd be nice. Getting around that time. And no incidents! Which is great! Stream without incident. That's new for me. It's so funny, my straw. It's so cool. I love it. Yeah. So super stoked. I'm probably gonna call it here. It is a couple minutes, like 8 minutes early to call it, but I feel like this is a good stopping point. Next we're gonna be going to the market square, since we finished up Woljiff's quest line, for the moment at least. I will be playing this tomorrow. I have my schedule in my about section and in my schedule section for anyone that wants to watch me when I'm streaming. And I look forward to anyone that comes. But yeah, I'm super stoked about this game, by the way. I am such a nerd. I love everything Pathfinder, D&D. Yeah, I'm super excited to play this tomorrow as well. I was so excited. But yeah, I'll see everybody tomorrow, and have a good night, guys. Bye!